Yes, we are.
This is WZAA 106.9 LPFM in Jeffersonville, Ohio. You are listening to The Morning Zoo.
How is everybody this morning? And we're glad you're here. And let your friends, neighbors, countrymen know that we'll be on this morning from 7:30 to 10. But at 9 o'clock this morning, we have a guest, and I'm kind of excited about this guest. He's an old friend of mine. He used to work for me when I was mayor of Sabina. Leonard Sines will be on today. And Leonard is running for Fayette County Sheriff. So we're going to talk to him about that and see how that goes and see how that's going for him anyhow. So, like I said, looking forward to that. It's been a busy week. How are you doing?
Tired.
You look a little tired this morning. You been out carousing too much or what?
No, this is my last week of grad school.
Last week. That's awesome.
Final week.
It? So are you still the valedictorian? Currently still valedictorian, which is awesome. And how much longer you got this until Friday?
To Sunday.
Oh, all the way till Sunday, huh?
Oh.
So, I mean, there's no chance you're going to fall into the salutatorian spot.
There is a minor chance.
A minor chance, okay. So you got somebody in there that's pretty good, is it? Hey, Lorraine Green, how you doing? David Hiles, how you doing? Rick will be in with us here in just a minute. Kim is AWOL today. We don't know where Kim's at.
She may show up. She may not show up.
We don't know.
We messaged her last night, and
so we'll see.
She never replied, so we'll see what happens.
Comrade Kim. You guys
She's in the wind.
You guys on there, if you don't mind, share the show a little bit. I'm sharing it to a couple pages.
Y'all, it is getting chilly outside.
Oh, man. I walked out the door today, and I'm like, I should go grab another coat. I was running a little late, so I thought.
Well, legally, we are already in fall this morning.
It's the
official,
first day, isn't it?
Yes, this morning.
I thought. First day of fall today.
So
I am wearing a chunky sweater.
It looks nice, though. I like it.
Thank you.
I got
chilly.
Kind of a sweat coat on, and my hat still, my Trump hat. Got to wear my Trump. I'm gonna wear my Trump hat until the election.
Got to wear your Trump hat.
Well, heck yeah. So
it is only 39 degrees outside here in Jeffersonville right now.
Toasty.
How was the ball game last night?
Well, I would say that given the circumstances that the Batavia was coming back after 2 weeks of inactivity because of a COVID-19 positive, situation. If you remember, in week 2, Wilmington was scheduled to play Batavia, and they had to cancel that game because one of their players had come up positive for COVID. So they've been off the last 2 weeks. They were supposed to be back on Friday, but they hadn't had any practice. They couldn't practice, and so they weren't going to come back Friday and try to play Clinton Massey.
Right.
So they scheduled a Monday night game.
Right, which we had the Monday night football theme was played, and
you probably get dinged for that.
Yeah, we've been dinged already. So, and I think the cheerleaders did a halftime show that probably helped as far as get us dinged. I haven't looked at the actual copyright violation, but the good thing about it is we've been doing this now for about 9 years.
Any whom get to the score.
Yeah. Well, the score, it was 70-14 as far as the final score. So, and that video is available on campusnation.com. But the quarterback for Batavia, I was impressed with. He really had a nice spiral on his football throw, and he reacted well under pressure, and obviously Massey produced a lot of that.
Yeah.
But Massey was just too much, obviously, for them. They had 14 points before you even blinked.
Wow.
And Massey, they have the running game. They pass when they need to. They actually had 4 passing touchdowns last night, I believe. But typically, Massey's a running team, and they have a good defense. And so the interesting game, which will probably determine the league champion this year, will be this coming Friday night. And Sydney's crew is going to be doing that game. So it'll be Clinton Massey versus New Richmond.
Oh, there you go.
Both are undefeated. Both are powerhouses in their own. New Richmond is a passing team. They put 77 points on Western Brown, and Western Brown put 54 points on Massey in losing. I think the final score was 68-54, something to that nature. But it was probably the most points that were scored against Massey in about 15 years in regular season play.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so
I'm kind of looking forward to watching Western Brown. Yeah, because they sound like they're just, it's a offensive machine. Yeah,
it is. And their quarterback, he is phenomenal. He's a sophomore. Now that's the game that you and I will be at, Charlie.
Right.
And then Sydney will be at New Richmond for that game up on the roof. So you better dress warmly if you think.
It's away. The New Richmond game is
away.
Away.
Both games are away.
Oh,
and we can't get in the press box because of the size of the press box. So our crew, Sydney and crew, will be on the roof doing the game. So hopefully
you're not
people
scared of
always
heights.
trying me. I got epilepsy. I ain't
it's
trying to be
it's
on
not
no
too
roof.
windy.
Oh,
I'm
goodness.
not supposed to be on a roof.
Yeah.
Maybe you should be like down running one of the cameras, like down.
Well, unless you wanted to do Charlie's game, and I do.
No.
See?
He just trying to take my crew.
See, there you go. But anyway, Tony
You don't want to go
Mancuso.
with my crew? Let's see how you are.
I have had the same crew the entire season. I'm not changing crews.
It's only 3 games.
No, we've
Yeah,
done
she's-
all of the away and home games.
Well, what, 4 games?
Yeah, we've done four games so
Four
far
games.
this year. So
4
we'll
games.
finish with 2 more games. It's a 6-game season, and then we go into the playoffs on October the 9th, November the 9th.
No, it's not November the 9th. It'd be October, wouldn't it?
Well, the season's over. Yeah, maybe it is October the 9th. They've already decided. I mean, Wilmington is in the playoffs. They've opted to be in the playoffs. Massey obviously is in the playoffs. I don't know about some of the other teams in the league, but
Well, most of them will probably just go ahead and do it just to get the other.
yeah,
game.
I don't know about East Clinton as an example. East Clinton may decide that they'll
East
just.
Clinton ain't gonna be in no playoffs.
Let me throw some haze out to some people because we got a bunch of people on here. Zach Bushy, David Hiles, Lorraine Green. How you doing, Lorraine? Joanne Mossberger. How you doing, Joanne? Levi Matthews, Richard Keach, Connie Kamatz, Trevor Shoemaker, and the one, the only Todd Blocker. And Todd Blocker already has a comment for Kim. Sound the alert, Comrade Kim was picked up by the KGB at Trump's rally, rumor has it. Kim was not at the Trump rally. But we'll talk
Not that
about
we
that
know
here
of.
a
She
little
could have
bit.
been in disguise, Charlie.
She wasn't. She's texting me from Sabina while I'm at the Trump rally, so I know she wasn't there.
Yeah.
But one of your other WZAA compatriots was there.
Joe Davis,
No.
No, Joe Holdren.
Joe Holdren.
Joe
Oh.
Holdren
Yeah,
was there.
Joe did some live, I think, from
Yeah,
the
he
from
did some
the
lives.
Trump.
I didn't do that because I was trying to conserve my phone so I could take pictures. And I was like, gee, many Christmas.
So David Hiles, is he on here maybe waiting to see what my pick will be for the new Supreme Court justice?
I don't know. He's on here, though.
Hey, David.
I'm sure he's probably thinking.
No, he's probably waiting to see Kim. but
Yeah,
he's
he's
not
Well, that
here.
probably is true. Now, let's hope maybe Kim will surprise us and she'll be in, but I just have a feeling that Kim must have been in a party mood last night, and so I think she's probably
Maybe. Who
medically unqualified to be in this morning.
I think she's probably just scared because we got the sheriff coming on. You know?
Well, that's true too.
The sheriff candidate coming on.
But he's not sheriff yet, so he
No,
wouldn't be
that's
checking
what I told her. I
her
said,
purse or
you're
her bags or
safe.
anything.
It'll be all right. It'll be all right, Kim. You guys are out there. If you don't mind, hit the little share button. Help us out a little bit. We would appreciate it greatly. So while we're talking football, let's go ahead and look forward to this Friday. I know you've already said Wilmington at Western Brown.
Right.
And then Massey at
To Richmond.
and this is week 5, right?
This is week 5, right?
Okay.
6-game schedule. And
Six
Wilmington
weeks.
actually has not played 4 games. They, of course, did
They've
not.
played
They haven't
3.
made up the Batavia
Are
postponement.
they
And they
make that
probably
up?
won't.
Well, they can. Let's just say that they go into the playoffs
Probably won't.
and they lose the first or second game. You can play up to 10 games this season, either a combination of regular season games, playoff games. Now, the only problem will be you'll have to have a team available to play So let's say that Batavia.
If they keep winning playoff games, they won't be available to.
That's
play
right.
them.
But if Batavia happened to
if they
not
get kicked out of
yeah,
the playoffs,
and
Right.
Wilmington the same
they're
way, they
available.
could still elect at some point to play that the game that they didn't make up.
With Batavia.
Yeah.
Okay. It's different this year, that's for sure. I don't know that I like it, but it's different.
There are some things that I think that in all sports that they're doing to be innovative and also obviously to be legal as far as what are the requirements and things like that. I think that some of the things that have been done have made sports in some ways more exciting. The National Hockey League went right into their playoffs, and currently
the Tampa Bay Lightning are on the way to the Stanley Cup.
well, they're tied with the Dallas Stars. They did make
They're not really tied.
well, they've each won a
They're
game.
in the heat.
That's tied. So, but
Whatever you want.
the Dallas Stars, they were ahead last night. Tampa Bay came back furiously and picked up the win in that game. So they are tied at one game all in the Stanley Cup Finals. And
But the Tampa Bay Lightning are going to win.
of course, my wife is a big Tampa Bay, Lightning fan. So
Go Lightning. I don't.
that's
I,
right.
I have,
Well,
I have no
that's what
dog
I'm
in
saying.
this fight. I don't
I lived
care.
in Dallas, but I'll for the sake of my wife, I will support the Lightning.
Smart move.
Yes.
Todd Blocker, we can't say this on the radio, but this is for you, buddy. There you go.
And we can do that on the internet.
Yeah, Todd Blocker. There you go. Anyhow, he said "hooday" to me on here. So,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, yes, it was a 35-30 win for the Browns, but they didn't impress me either. So, better keep the beer in the cooler. It's probably not going to break out anytime soon.
Well, it should have broke out against the Bengals. Yeah,
I guess.
I'm just not impressed with Baker Mayfield. I mean,
Well,
I'm just not
I would
impressed.
say at this point,
I thought the Who Day thing was a Saints thing.
That's who that.
yeah, who dat? And
Saints
speaking
are
of the
who dat.
Saints, they lost. That surprised
Yes,
me.
they did lose.
I was really surprised, but that was a good open for the Las Vegas team. They, were in their stadium for the first time this season, and they pulled off the win. So there were some interesting scores in the NFL. I don't know if everybody just assumed that the Patriots would win. Of course, they didn't. But
not in Seattle. That's not in the
no,
Seattle's
a first-class team and probably has the best quarterback in the NFL right now. So certainly isn't
Chargers
Dak.
almost beat the Chiefs. That was hard to believe.
That's true. Yeah. Did it actually go into overtime or was it?
Yeah, it went into overtime. Chargers won in overtime. I tell you, the game of the day though was your Cowboys. The
Yeah.
Cowboys 20-point comeback in the last half a quarter or last half of the fourth quarter, and they don't know how to field a kickoff. I mean, Atlanta had the game. All they had to do was just jump on the ball because Dallas couldn't touch it for 10 yards, and the ding-dongs wait and let it go 10 yards, and Dallas gets it back.
What was the playoff game where the Saints or the Falcons were in a game and they were ahead by, I don't know, it was like
That was
five.
against New England. I
Five,
think,
yeah,
wasn't it?
5 touchdowns or something,
Yeah,
and they
and
ended up
they
losing
beat-
that game.
yeah.
So they're notorious for these fierce
They're
comebacks by
almost
the
like
other
the
team.
Bengals, except they're probably a little better.
Well, the Bengals, I'm still impressed with their quarterback, Joe Burrow.
Oh, yeah.
Not because he's an Ohio State guy, LSU guy, but simply because I think that for his age and being a brand new quarterback, not
How about that Washington football team? I mean, I guess all they had to do was change their name to football team, and I think they finally won a game.
they did win a game,
won
but they
their
lost
first
this
game.
last.
They got
I mean,
beat this last week.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
And who was it that they played this last game? Was it Philadelphia?
No, they played Arizona.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
Arizona's not bad.
Well, that's
either.
what I hear, but I don't even know who's the quarterback of Arizona. It's not.
Kyler Murray.
Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, he's really good.
I
He's really good.
I'm not. I don't really
He's
watch
really good.
or follow the games as they're being played.
just kind of check the scores.
I'll scan the scores just to if someone wants me to be a little bit knowledgeable, I'll do that. But as far as
tell
sports,
ya,
the only thing I've given up completely on, I would not even worry about the NBA. That to me,
I don't watch
that's
it at all.
that's a trash league.
Of course, I really didn't watch it much anyhow. Well, we got some newer listeners on here. Sarah Swati Shahan, how you doing?
Hello there.
Darren E. Johnston, how you doing? Tammy Spate, how are you doing this morning?
Good morning,
you guys
all.
don't mind, hit the little share button there.
Yeah.
Down the left-hand corner. Mine is the left-hand corner.
How long? When did we
Hit the
first
share button.
start? We started the morning show. It was right after the 4th of
in
July.
No, we started
No, it
earlier
was
than that.
way
It was like
earlier than
May.
that,
We
didn't it?
talked about this.
No,
last
no,
We've been
I'm talking
about
about
this
the
all
4th of
summer.
July originally when we
Oh,
started.
originally, yeah.
We did the 4th of July here in Jeffersonville, what was it, 3 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
And then we started doing the morning show. It was a regular morning show. In fact, we actually, the first few shows that we did, we thought we were going to get up and do it at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Y'all freaking killed me. I'm sitting in here going to sleep.
It was hard
trying to
enough
do a show.
getting our co-hosts, the female parts of them coming in at, I think we started doing it at 7 then. So it was an extra hour, or we were later hour, 7 to 10, something like that. But we had some pretty big crowds. Now, analytics and all the things that YouTube and Facebook do to try to hold us down, you start building these big audiences, and then they screw things up, so you got to start sort of over again. But we've had some pretty good views, even just doing it on basically Tuesdays.
Burrow, Todd Blocker says Burrow looked good, but that O-line is going to get him killed. Which
That's
I agree.
true, and that's the thing that probably worries most people is the fact that the offensive line for the Bengals just can't protect him. But we thought that even before the season started, that he wasn't going to have the protection that he needed, and he's a pretty strong kid, but at the same time, when you get knocked around by these big guys in the NFL, you're not going to make it through a season probably without some aches and pains.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, Tammy Spade says, "Hey, good morning." Good morning to you, Tammy. I tell you, I've got to get into this because I'm just itching at it. Yesterday I went to the Trump rally.
You did?
Yes.
Is that the guy that's on your hat?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay.
And,
well, he's one of David's favorite people. Are you trying to read it?
Well, somebody, no, Jared just put something on my messenger. Jared, I can't see anything on messenger.
Oh, he was probably going to let us know as far as where Kimmy was missing in action or whatever.
But anyhow, I tell you, this was real cool. I got an email last week from a friend of mine who's with the Warren County Republican Party, and she said, "Hey, do you want to go to the Trump rally? I got tickets." And I'm like, "Well, sure, I'll go." So we had to submit our email and our phone number.
Give a blood sample.
No blood sample, but then we got these emails back to us that sent us all the directions when we needed to be there. Then they updated it. He was supposed to speak at like 4:30. He actually didn't speak till about 5:30, 5:45.
So when did you get there?
Well, he got there at 12:30.
Yeah.
To go ahead and get in line because the doors opened at 2.
Right.
So we thought 12:30 to 2, we can stay in line that long. Well, anyhow, we're in line. A couple of the cool things that just happened. I tell you what, this is the difference between, here we go. Here's the difference between Democrats and Republicans. First of all, I didn't see any protesters, which was awesome. I was waiting to see
and that's unusual, yeah.
protesters.
This was at a hangar at the Dayton
this
International
was a
Airport.
a semi-private event. You kind of had to be invited, but I don't think they turned anybody away who wanted to go.
Right.
But it was kind of cool because we were wearing those big long lines, and we weren't that far back really because we did get there early. The police, a bunch of Dayton police and Montgomery County sheriffs were out there on bicycles. And it was really neat because they would every once in a while ride by. And every time they rode by, I think they started doing it just because they liked all the applause they were getting. Everybody just broke out and
cheering them
cheering and also clapping for the police, which that was pretty cool.
Right.
Really. I was standing in line with this one lady, and she was dressed up as the American flag, and I said, "You're going to get interviewed by one of these TV stations." And sure enough, here come channel, like hers was channel CBS News. It didn't say where they were out of, Dayton,
I think
Columbus, or
yeah.
Cincinnati. I need to look on Channel 2 today. I got interviewed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had my Trump hat on.
Oh, I thought maybe they recognized you
Trump
from the
shirt.
morning
They
show.
might have.
Yeah.
I don't know. One of the first things, why they want you to, or why did you come here today? What do you want to hear? And I said, well, I want to hear about the future, first of all. I said, they said, well, isn't there any negative things about Trump? Yeah. I said, well, yeah. I said, yeah, he was very brash. Yeah, he's a New Yorker. He's a typical New Yorker.
That's right, yeah.
And I said,
we love him, don't we?
People, aren't used to that, and you got to take him that way. I said, he's not been the straightest guy in his life, but you know what? I said, here's the reason he got elected and the reason I voted for him. He's not a politician. I said, that, just cut and dried. He's not a politician. Then they asked about Supreme Court, and I said, well, here's the way I feel about Supreme Court. I said, I think they definitely will nominate somebody. I think they'll let it rest for about a week. Then after that week's over, go ahead and.
Well, and Ginsburg is going to be lying in state at the Supreme Court for a couple days. I think she's going to be in the Capitol. And so Trump is waiting until
Saturday.
Until
Friday or maybe Saturday.
That's right. Before he actually reveals his nomination. He's already said it's going to be a female. To keep the
he asked
six.
The crowd yesterday, should I put a female in?
Yeah, well, to keep the court 6-3 as far as female to male, and I think that that's it. It's a smart move. I think that there's certainly plenty of qualified females on the federal bench to be able to replace a Supreme Court justice.
Here's my only problem with that whole thinking is this, and it falls into like the Black Lives Matter stuff. It shouldn't make any difference if you're white, black, male, female. I want the best candidate. And you know what? He can do the same thing, still nominate a female without telling people that. Because that kind of turns me a little bit. Because it's like, yeah, I get it. And he's already nominated 2 men, and they've got on.
Right.
But I want the best qualified candidate. And I'm going to qualify that one more. I want the youngest best qualified candidate.
Well, Barrett is that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think that's his nominee.
Yeah.
I mean, I think most people have thought that, in fact,
she might have got it last time.
That's right. They thought that, she was probably going to be the nominee instead of Kavanaugh. But so do you think there's going to be a big fight?
Well, the Democrats are going to whine and bellyache. Here's the big thing. The Republicans just got to keep together. I mean, they have the Constitution on their side.
Lindsey Graham says they've got the votes, so apparently they've done some counting. And
well, I mean, you got to figure Murkowski, who ought to just go ahead and be a Democrat, and that crazy woman from Maine,
Collins,
Susan Collins. Yeah, they ought to just go ahead and be
they
Democrats.
are both, in all honesty, they're both up for re-election, and they have to, because they are from liberal states. They have to. Well, although Alaska is not liberal, but. And I don't know why they wouldn't find someone more conservative in Alaska. But needless to say, both those senators are fighting their battle, trying to maintain their Senate seat. We don't want to see them lose the Senate seat because even a rhino would be better than a Democrat.
I just want to know how you go from having someone like Sarah Palin in charge to having someone
well,
like
Palin would be a
Collins.
great senator. I think that, that's something for them certainly.
How does that happen?
Although Palin probably doesn't, she was beat up so much during.
I'll tell you here in a
How
minute.
does that happen?
I'm going to tell you here in a
How
minute.
does that happen?
I'm going to tell you. Here
You
in
guys
just a minute.
staged this? Is this something you did? You talked about.
No. But it's leading me on my journey from yesterday that I've just started.
All right.
It's leading
So
me.
how did it happen, Charlie?
Well, we'll get there. But I want to go through, okay, so we're in this big, long line, and the people said, hey, if you got an email, you need to be over here in this line. Well, we got an email. So we went over to the other line, and we got to move up closer.
Right.
And they said, well, wait a minute, this is General Mission. Then we found out everybody had emails, and General Mission line was on one side, and then, like, the elite email was on the other side, whatever.
What's
to get you closer,
Okay.
Yeah, that elite's not
Did
the
you
right
see Dave?
word. No.
VIP.
Yeah, the
4
VIP
seats.
entrance. Well, our name was on the list, and we ended up being in the wrong line. But
So were you a VIP or not?
we ended up being VIPs, but I don't think we really were.
Oh, okay.
So, because when we got up to the line, of course, there's Secret Service everywhere.
Right.
And there's this other security detail, too. And these guys, you didn't want to mess with. I mean, they were, oh, my. They just had gray shirts, black pants, black undershirts, long sleeve. I mean, they all look like, it looked like it could have been, the powerlifting champions of the world.
So they were big guys.
All of them. Yeah, all of them. And we had fun talking to them because we give them credit. And there's a couple girls there. Oh, my gosh. They would kill you. I mean, they would really kill you.
This isn't the first Trump rally that you've been to, right?
Yeah, first Trump. I've been to a Bush rally before, and I've been to Dan Quayle rally when he was here.
How do you spell potato?
I also, Potato. And then I also was here for the Clinton Gore rally. Because if you remember Bill Clinton, when he first started running for president, he got the nomination at the Democratic Convention, and his first stop
was Wilmington, Ohio.
Clinton County, Ohio. It's Clinton, get it? Yeah.
Right.
And we were playing in the band that was supposed to play there, which we never played a note, but we looked good. And Bill, Hillary, Alan Tipper walked right in front of me. Got to shake
so did
all
Bill
their
have
hands.
his cigars with him?
This was way before that. They were at that time they were super nice, and they really weren't. Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton even today.
I like Bill Clinton.
Bill Clinton even today is not near left as the nut house that's going on now.
I would say that Bill Clinton in a parallel universe is like Donald Trump in as much as they're both very pragmatic people. Bill Clinton understood that capitalism was here to stay and that he had to embrace it, and he did a good job of it. I mean, we had a great economy. Part of it was because the internet started really, gearing up. So he wasn't entirely responsible for that great economy. That was just because the internet and the innovation that spawned. But at the same time, he at least was able to embrace it and make it a part of his platform. And so we had some.
And I guess he can't really leave Hillary. She'd just have him killed.
That's probably true.
Yeah, I don't know whether it's Hillary that does most of the killing or whether it's Bill that does most of the killing. But if you're around the Clintons,
he seems like a pansy. I don't think he could kill anyone.
I'm kind of like I'm like with Sydney here. I have to go. If I had to vote, I'd have to vote on Hillary doing that. Well, anyhow,
I've never liked Hillary Clinton.
So we got separated in our groups, and then we had to walk. My left leg today and ankle was just killing me. We had to walk. I don't know, probably a half mile down to, maybe not
tarmac,
but a third of a mile to a half mile down to the tarmac, down to the place where they're having it. Of course, we had to, we got our names checked off the list already. Then we had to go through security, which they just wanded us and checked our, whatever we were carrying with us, which was no big deal. They did give everybody a mask if they wanted a mask, and they did give everybody hand sanitizer, a little bottle of hand sanitizer, and
did it have the presidential seal on it?
No, and a water.
And a water. That was good.
And when we got into the hangar, it was kind of cool because I figured we were just going to have to stand there all day. They had chairs.
Yeah.
They had chairs. So, after 2 o'clock.
But they weren't socially distanced chairs, were they? They were packed in there.
No.
Well, I mean, that's what one news station said. They said two things they said was, well, there weren't that many people wearing masks. And then they also said, and the chairs were too close together. And, they always try to pick.
Yeah. Well, and Trump pointed that out several times.
Yeah, well.
But anyhow, they had a black preacher from Dayton come on, and he gave the prayer, the invocation, everything, and really good job.
Yeah,
super good. I just can't remember his name, but yeah, really, 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 really good job. And then after that, they had several business people spoke on Trump's behalf on how some of the laws that he changed, especially during the pandemic,
right,
that could have broken
relaxing regulations and
actually helped them out a lot,
right.
But now the fun part. Guess who the next speaker is?
It wasn't a Democrat, was it?
Pretty close.
Really? Well, Bernie Sanders?
No. Actually, Trump spoke pretty highly of Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
He really did. He said,
I don't know, but we're going to guess in just a second because you're listening to WZAA 106.9 LPFM in Jeffersonville, Ohio.
So
This is the Morning Zoo.
we've done our legal requirement at
Nice
the top
job.
of the hour.
And we're back.
John Houston.
Oh, really?
And here's this guy is not very smart.
John
Because-
Houston?
Yeah.
Well, he can't be.
Well, first of all, it's funny because the announcer didn't even realize who he was. They said they didn't pronounce his name right. It was like John Houston. Houston. Or, it didn't even. It wasn't
For
even
those
right.
of you that maybe are like David Hiles on the left, he is our Lieutenant Governor of
Yeah.
Ohio, and he I guess just recently he's tried to sort of backtrack from all the crap that he and DeWine has
He's a
foisted
rhino.
upon us.
Art Huffman's watching. Tracy
Hey, Art.
Mitchell, Phyllis Holloway, and Allison Bryant. How you guys doing?
Hello, Allison. How are you?
But
Your daughter is getting so big.
But it's funny because here's John Houston up there, and he starts talking, and then like a magician, he pulls out 3 Trump masks out of his. He says, "Yep, I got my red Trump mask, my blue Trump mask, and I even got this white one that someone made a Trump mask. They put in black." Oh my God!
Was it Fran? Maybe
wait a
Fran
minute,
made
wait
the
a minute.
masks.
Everybody was booing him. Everybody was just boo, boo.
Oh, gosh.
Boo. He says, "Oh, okay, I get it." But they still just kept booing him. I thought they were going to boo him off the stage.
Right.
That's what they should have done, was booed him off the stage. But they didn't boo him off the stage. But anyhow, so he goes on, talks about Trump a little bit, and everybody's, yeah. He gets a lukewarm applause because, no one really wants to see
Yeah,
Trump
they know it's all staged.
Well, then he just mentions Mike DeWine. Yeah, me and Governor DeWine, boo, boo. Everybody just starts booing again.
Well, why do you think DeWine wasn't there?
He was there.
Oh, he was?
He was.
He was
there.
hiding somewhere?
It was really weird.
Did he ever speak?
No.
Well, Trump probably wouldn't let him.
I tell you what, the airplane, Air Force One, which by God is huge. I mean, it's the size of a small town. Do you see how big in my pictures that thing is? I mean, it's huge. I mean,
Well,
it's
so what?
huge.
I'm trying to think.
Well,
is it a 767? or
It's the biggest one.
One of the
ever,
later.
whatever. But anyhow,
It's not an Airbus.
anyhow,
It's European.
the wine. I swear to God, I really couldn't tell, but I think he got off the plane with Trump. I really do. And Trump had flown in from Washington. Now, I may be wrong in that, but I thought for sure I saw him get off the plane. But I could be wrong, like I said.
Oh, he's a very diminutive man.
Well,
very
but
tiny.
his wife was with him, and that's how I could tell.
Oh, really? Fran.
It looked like a little short guy. It looked like them
Right.
from a distance, but
Yeah.
I really couldn't tell for sure. Anyhow, so Trump, it's really everybody's taking pictures of the plane coming in. The plane pulls up just to the right of the stage. And
It's pretty impressive.
This thing is so huge. You see that thing, like I saw a video of it earlier. It hadn't left yet, and
You mean when it was in D.C.?
yeah, it didn't look that big.
Right.
That thing rolls in. That thing is a monster. That thing's like probably 4 or 5 stories tall, maybe 6 or 7 stories tall, and just super long. But anyhow, he gets off. Of course, everybody just loving him, standing up, and security's going around. Get your children off your shoulders. You can't stand on the stairs. Whatever. It was no
they don't
big
want them
deal.
blocking people's vision.
Yeah, right. Well, anyhow, Trump gets up there and he starts welcoming everybody. I appreciate everybody coming in. It was about jobs. The whole rally was about creating jobs.
Right. Well, that's
So
big in Ohio.
So behind him, he had all these guys with hard hats and stuff on, and had job signs, and it was pretty interesting because he started going through one thing. Governor Mike DeWine. Everybody just, even with Trump on stage, everybody just, and Trump kind of looked shocked. He's like,
well, he may not actually know
what's
that
going on,
Ohio people don't like their governor.
Yeah, and I think it kind of took him aback, to be honest, because he wasn't ready for that. And Dwayne was there, but he never come up and spoke or anything.
Probably just as well not. He would have been booed off the stage.
Oh, yeah. It got him.
DeWine is a very interesting character, I guess you could say, because he was when we were at the Trump rally where we actually went as press down in Cincinnati, one of the earlier rallies. How long's it been?
August 1st,
Okay.
2019.
Yeah. So anyway, when we were at that Trump rally, DeWine was there, and of course Dave was with us, and I didn't realize just how short Mike DeWine was until I actually was, right next to him, because we were on the arena floor there in Cincinnati, and where the press is,
right.
And DeWine was at the entrance.
He's a little midget.
We went through the Secret Service, and they're very thorough with people that are actually going to be on the floor closer to Trump.
Like bomb sniffing dogs.
Oh yeah, they checked everything, and you couldn't bring in like a regular camera, because any of the cameras
sniff your laptops.
any of the cameras
devices.
that like CNN or any of the major news networks,
they had to be checked several days prior.
Yeah, they had already been gone through and made sure that there was nothing funny about the cameras and that. But you could still have your phones and things like that. But and it went really, I think it went fast. Our biggest problem was just finding the entrance that the press was supposed to go into.
We have some more new listeners here. Bobby Klein, how you doing? Janet, Summer, Aber, Allison Bryant. She says DeWine is a hidden Democrat. That's called a rhino.
That's
Republican in name only.
That's right. Yeah.
Jared Friend. Well, wait. Did Rick just call someone short? You sent me a message, Jared, but I can't see it because we record this on our phone. So whatever you sent me, you may want to send to Sydney.
DeWine is definitely short.
Yeah, if you could let me know what's going on.
Yep, where's Kim at? Is she still alive this morning, or is she
alive? If you could just let us know that she's alive, that would be
like
helpful.
a thumbs up or something like that.
Where's she at? Because she disappeared on her way to get me.
I think she was
and then
worried
fell
about
off the side of the earth.
I think she's worried about the sheriff coming.
Our 9 o'clock guest, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think she's probably shaking in her boots.
What up with that?
So anyway, needless to say, the Trump rally was a success.
Todd Blocker says DeWine didn't speak because they didn't have a booster step for
that's right.
the podium. Oh, one thing about the waters too, we had to leave our caps for the water bottle outside, and they said,
"Why is that?"
Well, I have the answer. I guess in the past, people would take those caps and just start throwing them at the media.
Well, Trump does tend to get the crowd.
She's alive.
That's good.
To get the crowd revved up against, typically it's like CNN and so they.
He did several times. Those people back there won't tell you this, but this is what's going on.
Right,
he gives them that and. Everybody boos and turns around, gives them the thumbs down.
There are a couple like what is it? Right Side Broadcasting, which does a lot of the Facebook lives of the Trump rallies, and I think that Diamond and Silk. I think that they're connected with them.
Turning Point.
Right.
Some of the more conservative.
So he does have
actually
a few.
Tell the truth.
Yeah, he does have a few favorite news agencies, along with WZAA, of course.
Of course. But it was. It was, and then getting out of there was just horrible. I mean, because you had all these people.
See, when we left a little early, and then we parked. Well, we were in Cincinnati.
We were at the
parked
casino.
at the casino,
and then we had to walk down to the riverfront.
Someone's calling you. But we were like over a mile away.
It's about your car insurance, Charlie.
And we took one of those little taxis. I hailed it down.
They're like,
because I was wearing high heels and I had blisters on my feet. I was like,
she bought a pair of new shoes for the Trump rally, and we walked like 8 blocks to get from the casino
to
these
big heels.
Yes.
So she was. It was not a smart thing, but we didn't think about it. I guess
I'm going to tell you
didn't think it through.
The crowd yesterday, I was surprised because I would say it was probably 60-40 women. There's a lot of women there.
I think
yesterday.
that, of course, that's the other problem. The media makes you think that women aren't supporting Trump, particularly women like an Allison Bryant that maybe,
the
the mother that doesn't like Trump being so abrasive and coarse and all that. And I think that, once again, you've hit the nail on the head. He is a New Yorker. And I know when I lived in Texas that Texans and New Yorkers don't get along too well because they're sort of polar opposites. Texans are real laid back, and New Yorkers are, intense people. He can be, a little abrasive at times, but we sort of enjoy it because it's like I said, I was reading this morning on one of the news, probably it was the Salon website, Salon, very liberal website. More of a young person's website.
Do you read that just to make yourself mad? Or
no,
what?
I read it to. I read it to think. I want to think.
Okay, well, if you think about it, like a Texan or a Southerner, they might be a slow talker, and they might be a little more sweet than abrasive and real fast paced. But if you do anything to cross them or stab them in the back, they'll cut you off all the same. I think people are all the same.
They'll just plain cut you.
Approach you a little differently, but if you stab someone in the back, they're going to cut you off all the same.
But on this Salon website, they had an article by
Okay, stop reading the liberal news.
a psychologist.
Stop reading USA Today.
Listen, the psychologist
Let's
was saying that Trump is abusing the American public, that he is actually causing PTSD in a lot of people because he's so abusive. And I'm thinking, after 8 years of Barack Obama, me being a businessman that literally was decimated, Barack Obama was worse in 8 years, and this pandemic has been, in 6 months. And so thinking about that, I probably should have PTSD.
So who published this article?
It was Salon.com was the website.
Was it Marianne Dotson?
No, it was not Marianne Dotson. And
you
Marianne Dotson is very conservative.
It's Dr.
Dr.
Yeah, Dr. Dotson.
Kristen Benitez is watching. So is Brian Forrest. How you guys doing? Those guys are out there watching. If you don't mind, hit the share button. We'd appreciate that this morning.
Shots fired.
But anyhow, it's the Trump rally was fun.
So it was a success.
Yeah, yeah. And we stopped. Mark Klingler, who was on our show last time, we stopped. I'm Elsa's is the name of this. We stopped at a
Mexican restaurant.
Yeah, have you ever eaten
at
Elsa's?
Oh, yeah. That was my mother's favorite. Well, she's still alive. My mother's favorite Mexican restaurant is Elsa's. Yeah. They have several locations.
Which one did you go to? We went to the one between Woodman and Smithville.
Yeah, that's the old. That's probably one of the original. If that may be the original, we usually went to the one in Centerville, down by the, down by Loop Road. But that's another good location.
Well, I tell you what, it was good.
Yeah,
it was real.
They have very
food.
very good. Mexican.
I never heard of it, so I'm just kind of putting a plug out there for people. If you want a good Mexican restaurant, granted. The ones we have around here are good also, but if you're in the Dayton area,
right,
Elsa's is a good place.
Yeah, and been around forever.
Yeah, it was looked a little seedy going into it,
Yeah. I think hole-in-the-wall restaurants usually have the best food.
That's what my wife said too, and it
I don't know
looks
why,
that way.
but it seems to work out that way.
Yeah, Mark Klingler had told us about it, and
so Mark wasn't actually at the rally.
No. Mark's not doing well. Everybody needs to pray for Mark Klingler. He actually probably will be heading to the Cleveland Clinic here in the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, he just got some issues going on, and it's one of those things where he's got multiple doctors involved, and they don't want to do. The other one wants to wait on the other one to do their stuff before they do their stuff.
Well, that's Sydney. That's a case in point there. Sydney goes through the same things.
They've offered me to go there, but I'm not.
Jared said check Messenger.
Check Messenger.
So there you
I hope it's not a picture.
I mean,
no, from Jared.
I don't have anything from Jared.
She don't have anything, Jared.
Maybe I do. I don't know. I don't even know where my phone is. Where's my phone?
We don't know either.
Oh,
Rick, are you losing things now?
It's over there. It's over there on my desk. Well,
yeah, at 9 o'clock today, we do have Leonard Signs. I do need to bring this up. Yesterday, like I said, they had these security guards that I would have liked to talk to them more because they were really cool.
Charlie's got something going on about security guards.
This one guy, I mean, he was so bulk, and we just started teasing him. We said, so, what I asked him, are you guys like all part of are you local? That's why I asked him. He said, "Oh no, we go with the president."
So they go with the president.
But they weren't Secret Service. It was another.
Well,
whole
no,
different,
but
there's another different security.
President Trump has his own security detail that he has deployed, and I think that a part of that is just because it's not that he doesn't trust the Secret Service, but I think that he just wants that extra level of security that answers directly to him.
I mean,
to protect his six.
They're getting out the long rifles with the scopes. The Secret Service was. But these guys, it's funny, this little guy, and we got talking. He said, "Now I'm the only professional here. The rest of them I could take in a heartbeat." I said, "I think," and that's how it started was, I think you could probably take all these, but that one. He goes, "Who's that?" Yeah, give me a crap.
The woman.
That's why I said the woman. She looks like she could kill you. He goes, oh no. He said, I got them all. And we were just having fun back and forth. I told the lady later, I said, that guy, the short guy, the big guy? He said he could whip all your butts, including you.
Trying to stir these people were deployed all over the area, right? They were all around.
Well, and they had a ton of police there, too. A ton of police there.
Although the police are probably there more to just herd you people in the audiences and make sure that you're
They
behaving.
weren't really in the building. The security force was in the building, the gray shirts. And then the police was mostly outside, keeping people out of areas that they shouldn't go in. But I bet you they had probably 10, 15 on bicycles up there. And I was really waiting for the protesters, and no protesters at all.
Yeah, there were protesters when we were leaving, and of course they must have been out there the entire time.
Trump rally?
When we were at the Trump rally in Cincinnati, there were protesters. They weren't acting up or anything, and there were a couple when we were inside. I think that
people were like protesting the protesters.
They said something, and they had to be escorted out. I think they might have.
Trump made fun of them, and then like other people at the rally were like, "Okay, you got to go now."
Yeah.
Well, we didn't have anybody in the rally, but we did have some people just shouting out while Trump was trying to talk. He goes, "I love this woman over here." He says, "You ought to be an opera." She's just so loud,
But was she someone that was pro-Trump?
She was pro-Trump.
Okay,
yeah, he thanked her for what she was saying. It was just funny because she was loud.
Right.
She didn't need a microphone; she could just blare through. So, but no, I mean that kind of wraps it up for me. I do have one more thing. I forgot this. Now I kind of was waiting to tell our sheriff candidate, but I actually saw the sheriff of Fayette County yesterday. He was at the rally.
No, okay.
He didn't speak to me. I don't know that he knows me. I know him, and I've met him before, but I don't think he really knows me. Anyhow, he's there all dressed up, 3 or 4 of them, and the security detail, there's like 6 of them, go back and get him, and the people that were with him were all dressed up. I think one might have been a Fayette County commissioner, I heard, because the little short guy told me that.
Short guy?
Yeah, with the muscles.
It wasn't DeWine?
And the security detail. And so they went and got them and escorted them to the front of the line. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, well, they're law enforcement.
Yeah, well, and it was just weird. Everybody knows you, Charlie. I don't know. No, I don't know. This guy, I don't know if he knows me or not. He probably will after today because I'm sure he'll watch this video this morning.
Well, and of course, one of the things that we want to preface all this with is that we will offer equal time to anyone that if we bring in, one candidate, we will certainly bring in the other candidate if they choose to come out and be on the show with us.
So do I need to make that phone call then?
Well, I think that the offer's out there. We've made it, and if Vernon Stanforth wants to come on, he's more than welcome. I know one thing. Deputy sheriffs are always all over the place here in Jeffersonville. And in the plaza, we've got great law enforcement when it comes out here as far as their presence. They're always in this area, for being on the other side of the county.
Yep. And you guys, maybe I shouldn't. I'll ask this, and you can decline to answer. All right. But have you switched your voting yet?
You mean as far as in moving?
Yeah.
No, we're just going to go back to Wilmington and vote. No.
don't know if you should say that online.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter because
I mean, it's like a
we're
month
still in
from now,
Ohio,
I'm not
so,
going to
yeah.
go re-register.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go back to the DMV and get another license and re-register.
I mean, we've got
So,
we could actually vote early, and I had thought about doing that as well. But no, I'm not worried about. We're still on the registry, and we've got The other thing is our driver's licenses are all with our old address and that. I don't, they make. One thing I can say about Ohio,
And we just
and
got
particularly
them.
Clinton County. Yeah, in Clinton County, they're very careful
That's
about
how I
making
feel
sure
about
that people are
that.
registered. That are legal. That no dead people are coming in and voting. But anyway, I don't think we'll have any issues or any problems.
Okay. Todd Blocker said, I was bummed about the rally. I thought I would hear Trump say, throw her out. And I could say, that's Kim.
Yeah, surprisingly, Todd, that I think that Kim has come closer to the dark side in recent months.
Definitely.
And she's already, basically, I think that she's going to vote for Trump. And I think that that's because she thinks the other guy's nuts, crazy, demented,
Well,
whatever.
I think sometimes, unfortunately, when it's election season, in the beginning there's lots of options. And it's kind of like, okay, who's the best candidate? Who would I like to vote for? But when it whittles down to like the two candidates you get to pick from, more often than not, it's kind of like, who's the lesser of two evils?
Well, I think that's definitely the way it is with Kim.
And you just have to pick one.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, for me, did I want to vote for Hillary Clinton? Heck no. Okay? Did I want to vote for Trump? Maybe not. I would have rather seen maybe like Ted Cruz. But, like, did I want to vote for Trump? No, but I definitely wasn't going to vote for Hillary Clinton. So,
Right.
Trump it was.
Well, I mean,
So,
one thing I can say is
lesser of two evils.
now that Trump has been president for all these years.
Do I like Trump more now? And am I going to vote for Trump again? Yes.
Exactly.
But,
Yeah.
Like,
He's fulfilled what he
number
promised.
one pick in the beginning? No. But I voted for the guy because I didn't really have a choice. Would I vote for Trump over someone who's senile? Well, duh. I mean, I'm not going to put someone with possibly dementia or Alzheimer's in office because, like, that's kind of an a-hole move. Like, just, like, being a decent human being. Like, he should probably be in a nursing home, like, practicing his letters.
Well, I don't know that he's that far yet, but yeah,
He seems to be.
Not have access to nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
Maybe have some fudgesicles.
Donald Trump has actually said that he thought that they were probably giving him some type of enhancing drugs in order to try to up his game. Make
There
him
are
seem,
drugs for dementia to slow down the process,
but
that's
there's
not
nothing
going
wrong
to,
with that.
Like,
But I'm just saying that there's nothing wrong with
you shouldn't
that.
take them,
No.
but I'm saying that should not give
Prevagen.
you access to, like.
he's probably taking Prevagen.
I'm just saying, probably not start World War III or like control the world, like world powers and whatnot, like global economies.
It's funny you say that because Trump really went after John Bolton yesterday. And he said, if I'd have kept that guy around, we'd been in World War V right now.
Well,
he wanted to go bomb everybody.
Bolton is part of, we'll call, if you want to call him the deep state or you want to call it whatever, the swamp. And that's most of the Republicans that are anti-Trump are people that are based on the military-industrial complex, and they get so much money pouring in from that part
Be
of the
allowed
government.
to turn us into a socialist, borderline communist regime.
Well, they just
AKA second Venezuela.
Yeah, they want us to be in war all the time, and that's the thing. I'm
Like-
surprised that most of these libtards that are out there don't love Trump because we've actually probably had less, war and bombings and activities since Trump's been president than Barack Obama. The one that won
Right.
the Nobel Prize for
and
his peace.
he talked about, they're trying to basically get out of the rest of the, Afghanistan and.
Oh, and they're actually leaving
Iraq.
bases.
Yeah, he said, they're trying to get out of there. He said a lot of this, especially Iraq, he was kind of saddened about because a lot of this stuff he never agreed with in the first place, but he has to deal with it.
Yeah.
And
Well, of course, every president inherits that kind of thing from.
said they're almost out of I can't think of the name of the country, but they're taking the oil with them. What's the other Middle Eastern country where there's war going on?
I mean, we've had issues with Kuwait, Afghanistan.
Are you talking about?
Their government's
Iraq and
been bombing,
Iran.
or
No,
killing their
Syria?
people. Syria,
Syria.
yeah,
Right.
Syria.
Yeah.
But I mean, they all have issues.
Well, what do you
within
mean they're
themselves.
taking the oil with them?
So-
According to Trump, a lot of the oil that's in Syria we're getting.
Hmm.
He said that's
And of
what
course
they should have done that in Iraq too.
Well, I mean, as far as I guess paying the debt back for everything that
Yes.
we've poured into it, but then you play into the hands of the liberals that are saying, well, the only reason we're ever in wars is over oil, and I don't think that that's entirely true. But I think that certainly that might have some influence on it. The same way that people that are on that side of the fence want to see us in war all the time because they make a lot of money off of war.
Right.
And unfortunately, it's young people that are in the military that pay that heavy price, and the families, that care about them. And so, one thing I can say, one other thing about Trump is the fact that he really deserves that nomination for the Nobel Peace Prize
Yeah, he
because
does.
he's actually
Well, look what he's done just recently
that's
in
right.
the Middle East.
Yeah. So
And he said Iran, as soon as the election's over, he said Iran will come to the table within a month.
and that's because right now they're just waiting. They're sitting on the fence waiting to see
if
who's.
Biden wins.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just think of some of the ignorance in the young people today. They're all, we want peace in the Middle East. Well, most of it's them fighting with each other. And then they're
Right.
like, oh, we would like to see peace in Africa. Again, most of it's them fighting with each other. If we went over there and tried to solve all the problems within African countries fighting with each other, you know how long that would take. And
Right.
we'd never actually be able
And
to
what would you
create
actually have to
peace
do?
within Africa?
Would you have to get involved in the conflict?
Exactly.
And one of
Yeah.
the things that we know,
You know what I mean? And how widespread it is. How would we ever create peace
when you're
within all
talking
of
a
those
civil
countries?
war, it's very difficult to be able to get
gotta
involved.
stay out
in
of that.
That's right.
You
Civil
Besides
wars.
the fact,
yeah.
most of them are third world. I mean, how the heck would we ever establish
stay
peace in
out of
any of
that.
that?
Well, let's kind of move on here a little bit. Let me give you some car show stuff update because we do have a couple exciting things coming up this week.
We do.
Yes, we do. Well, tonight's
are they?
our normal Chubby's Pizza Cruise, 5 to 8.
How many more of those do you have?
We'll have
October?
them till about the third week, usually in October.
Right.
Frost
Frost of the Pumpkin.
Yeah, they'll get cool. And then tomorrow night we have our cruise over at the VFW. Thank you. And then
Baked steak sandwich.
Saturday, baked steak sandwiches. You gotta say sandwich.
Sandwich.
And then Saturday, we're going to take a cruise. We're going to West Virginia, to Moundsville State Penitentiary for the Hearst show there.
Right.
And we're going to probably be there a long time. We're going to try to get there by 9:30.
You mean like all day, or you mean a long time, like they're going to
all
commit you,
day.
lock you up,
I mean, all
solitary?
day. Well, they may want to commit me at the end of the day because I think we're even going to try to stay and go through the haunted house in the prison this year.
There's a haunted house.
Yes, and
Count me out.
then but then we'll pack up and come home. So we probably won't get home till 1 or 2 in the morning. Then we got to get up and have Cedar Creek car show.
Well, you're going to be
on
busy.
Sunday.
Sounds like
the Jim
you-
Miller car show. We're just DJing that one though, so I plan on being pretty relaxed during that one. And then Sunday night, for those of you who like Christian music, Sold Out will be at the Sabina Church that's right next to Yule's. Okay, and Sold Out is a Christian gospel group from. One of the members is Greenfield, but most of them are located in Ohio. They're really good. They're really good. So plan on checking them out. I also, last Friday, we did go out to Cedar Creek and saw Zach Williams and Big Daddy Weave, which is a Christian groups, and it was packed.
It's
I bet there's
Big
700,
Daddy
800.
Weed.
Weave.
Oh, I was going
Daddy.
to Shades of Kim.
No, his last. Oh. His last name's Weaver, and they call him Big Daddy Weave.
Okay, all right.
But that's it. It was an excellent show, and I tell you what, they had, I bet, at least 700 cars.
So, do people sit in their cars to watch, or
No,
do they get out of their cars?
well, if you got trucks, like they'll sit in the back of their trucks, or you can take your chairs up toward the
So,
front.
like a regular drive-in theater, almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good time. It really was. The only bad part about it, man, they need to do something different with the way they get people in, because
Takes a long time.
we were out on the road, parked for 20 minutes, and we could have been out there longer than that, but I kind of waited till the line went down. We parked across the street, then went over. Yeah, it was a little dangerous, actually. We have some new people watching. Robin Strieber-Zitney, how you doing? Stephanie Kratzer, how you doing?
Hello, hello.
So, yeah, it was a little scary. Like I said, 9 o'clock, we have Leonard Signs on today. So Leonard is running for Fayette County Sheriff. It's kind of funny because you see his signs for signs.
We've seen those. I mean,
Yeah.
especially going into Washington Courthouse.
There's a bunch.
There's a bunch of them right in a row.
There's a bunch, yeah.
And there's even a Biden sign across the street from one of those. It kind of shocks me because, I actually see more Biden signs in Wilmington than I do in Washington Courthouse.
Well, nice. There's there's one guy in Sabina that he makes it look like there's a lot of Biden supporters, but he just goes and puts signs up. He's got a set group. And
I saw someone said something on Facebook about the fact that they had removed some Biden signs from their own property. Someone had put them on their property, and they charged them with a felony for removing the signs. And I don't even know I don't know if it's true that it's actually a felony to remove
might be
political signs or
is.
not. But
If you didn't put them up, why is it a felony to remove signs from your own property?
I don't know. I mean,
No, it's not from your own property.
No, this
I was
is what he
gonna
was
say,
saying.
if-
He was saying that someone
Oh no! If it's your own property, you do
someone
with what
put
you
the
want.
signs on his property illegally, and he went to remove them, and the police came out, and he was charged with a felony for
No.
removing.
No, it's
Somebody's
his
got-
yard. If
somebody's got that
someone
screwed
put
up.
crap up in his yard he didn't want.
Yeah.
Joe Davis was watching.
Joe Davis is going to be with us Friday.
Joe, are you going to do play-by-play?
I've still got to get a hold of Jim Marsh, the athletic director at East Clinton, because we were supposed to do a volleyball match tomorrow, but Joe had a match that he was supposed to officiate today moved to tomorrow. So we're going to have to reschedule our volleyball match at East Clinton for the 30th, which is a week from tomorrow.
Yeah, I can't. If it was Thursday, I could have done it.
It was going to be Wednesday, but I've also Jim. East Clinton has their homecoming this Friday. I think they play C&E, but Jim had wanted us to come out and maybe do that game, which we're not going to be able to do because we're going to be committed to 2 other locations. But we will do Bland will be playing to finish the season. That's the rivalry match, I guess, Blanchester and East Clinton.
Okay.
So we will be doing that game. But
Bland has a good team this year, I've been told.
well, they lost this past Friday, but
To who?
It was surprising. I don't know. It was like Williamsburg or Fayetteville or something.
No, East Clinton beat Williamsburg last week, so it must have been Fayetteville, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it was. I would consider it to be an upset.
Interesting. So what you guys got cooking this week? Anything cooking this week other than the football games?
No, not really. It's kind of nice to. And Sydney, of course, is winding down as far as her master's degree.
It's my last week of graduate school. I have to turn in my final copy of my
she's
thesis
she's been a
dissertation.
little antsy.
Touchy?
Yeah, this past week, to say the least. But anyway,
and publish it to Google Scholar, but
so
no
that's
big
that's
deal.
part of the reason I
It's
think
just a book.
she didn't go with me to the game last night.
It's
but-
only an entire book that's getting published.
Oh, it's a book.
It's a book.
I thought you said a blog at first.
No, it's a book.
well, she does have a blog, but it's
Yeah.
It's a book.
But this is the book. Yeah,
Really? How many
Yes.
pages is this thing?
2. All right. It's more than
About
that.
75 pages.
75.
75
yeah.
pages. Wow.
It's a short story.
No, it's nonfiction.
Nonfiction. Okay, so
Oh, Joe Davis says I choose. Okay. Well,
Joe Davis
I
says
know
he chooses.
if I choose play-by-play, you're going to do play-by-play anyhow. So I'll let you do play-by-play, and I'll just do
Well,
color.
Joe Davis, we can definitely know that when you and Charlie get together and do a game, there's going to be a lot of rah, 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 sis, boom, bah,
There
go
will
Wilmington.
be no energy drinks.
No.
Yeah, none
For
for
Joe
you, Joe.
Davis.
No.
None for you,
I don't even
Joe.
think he should get coffee.
Yeah, no for Joe.
We need to keep Joe sedated.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. I don't know. I don't care really either way. So
Yeah,
we
this'll
can
be-
switch off.
Well, I mean,
We could
that's
switch
true.
off.
You could do first half, and Joe
Yeah.
could do the second half.
Yeah,
But anyway,
we can switch off.
it's not like you haven't done a few football games for Campus
Right.
Nation.
But
in
if I
your
remember
lifetime.
right, last time it's like I said I was going to do play-by-play. It's like doing play-by-play with Dave. You can't even get a word in edgewise.
Well,
It's
yeah,
like-
and I asked Joe to maybe if he was available to do some camera work for us. I don't know whether it's this past week or whatever. He says, I can't do that. He says, I get too focused on the game that's going on, and I can't act. I'll
too
forget.
shaky.
I'll forget that I'm running the camera. So, and Joe's that way. He's kind of intense when it comes to some of this stuff.
Joe, yeah.
Yeah.
Tina Whaley Brown, how you doing? She's watching with us today. Like I said, we do have Leonard Signs coming on. I'm kind of excited.
Oh, how's your fitness
him.
watch going?
I got it going good. I tell you what, the one day I showed you how many steps I had,
Yeah.
and it was like 14,000 steps.
Wow.
Yesterday I had about 9,000 because we
Well,
had a lot of walking.
that's pretty good though.
Yeah, it only died on me once. She said like charge it every 3 days. See, I haven't charged
Yeah.
it for like 2 days, and it
Yeah, it's
still
still
has
pretty good.
that.
Yeah.
And today I don't have any
And
steps because
it matches your eyes.
I won't have very many steps today because my left foot and ankle, just after being on that concrete all day,
Swells up.
yesterday, hurt.
Yeah.
It never hurts that bad. My left heel, though.
Did you wear a new pair of shoes? Is that it?
No, I was wearing my New Balance.
Oh, okay.
I don't have my New Balance on today, but
Well, and we went to a wedding this past Saturday, and of course, then we came out to Kim's, and you guys had a cookout. You had ribs and all. And there was a lot of good food there. It's just that we'd already eaten at the wedding, so we weren't too hungry. And Kim, she was in her glory Saturday night as well.
Anyway, we had a good time.
Change the subject real quick.
it was a good time.
Yeah.
The only thing, I got a little antsy. It just seemed like it was really loud at times. Did you catch that? Does that bother you?
You mean the music that was
No,
playing?
just music and all the conversations.
I think it was
going
the
on and
children.
Well, I mean, there were a lot of people there.
Children make me anxious.
Does that mean you concur?
on the nose.
Well,
They weren't our children, just to be.
we're getting old, and children are kind of hard to take sometimes for
You
old
know,
people.
at this wedding
I
we
didn't
went
have any
to,
problem
someone
with kids.
asked
I like
me
kids.
if I had children, and then I said no. And then they asked me when I was going to have children, and I said
said
never. And there was crying children in the background, and I was like, this is exactly why.
That's and of course her first master's degree is in education, so
But
figure
not
that all
to
out.
teach children.
Yeah,
It's to be a professor.
That's the deal with you.
that's true. Yeah, in my old age, my Joe Biden years.
Come on, Sydney. That was good.
Anyway,
Yeah, that was good. You liked that.
so,
And of course, when we went to the wedding, there was someone at the wedding that had reminded me that I'm almost old enough to be Sydney's grandfather.
no,
Well, that's
she
nice.
said you were old enough to be
Well,
my grandfather.
I was trying to
straight
be.
Is
out.
that an
I was trying to-
ex-wife?
No, well, it was sort of. It
No,
was,
but your ex-wife was there sitting next to me,
it
which
was
was weird.
It was
Oh,
my
that's weird.
ex-wife.
That
No,
is
my
weird.
ex-wife's brother and sister were there as well.
Sitting at the table with us.
Yeah, because it's
with his
obviously
ex-wife.
my
And
son.
they
So
said
it's-
that in front of
Eh,
you?
Yes.
Oh well, there were a lot of interesting conversations going on there,
Oh,
but I mean it was fun.
yeah,
For
right.
him.
I think I would
He
beat
had a
him.
good time.
I think I would beat him.
I think someone's
Yeah.
here.
Yep,
That's
better check
fine.
that out. Yeah, that's not good.
That's his cue to leave.
No, that's
the
that's.
awkward
I mean that
conversation.
that conversation though is not good.
Yeah, it
To
was.
be honest with you,
It was weird.
Leonard.
It was a weird night, man.
So yeah, that's not good.
I did my boxing challenge last week.
How did that go? Yeah.
It was good, sweaty.
Now, you did that online with other people. Is that how it
Yeah,
works?
and to be honest, I didn't like it that much.
Why is that?
It was too hard.
It was what?
Too hard.
Now, when you do that, are you looking at your phone, or are you looking at a TV screen?
I
or
can
what?
do it on my phone, or I can cast it to the screen or my computer.
So what do you do there?
I usually just do it on the phone because it's easier.
Here we got Leonard. Leonard's going to come on a little early with us, it looks like. So
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
There you go, Leonard. I'll even get you turned on here.
His card is almost like his signs that we see all over.
Didn't sound very good, but there we go. Let's see, there we go. Let me. Yeah. Oh yeah. You're.
morning.
Here, let me scoot back here.
All right, so he's got it. We got him
Yep.
mic'd up.
Yep. He's got. And you want to hold it up here because.
All right.
Here's
Very
the deal,
directional.
Leonard, just so you know what's going on here. You're on the radio right now, so
Right,
we
over
so we can't
WZAA.
swear. All right. We got to keep it clean. But we're also on my Facebook Live,
Which
And-
doesn't matter on that.
and yeah, that doesn't make a difference. But we're on the radios.
And we're recording to be uploaded to YouTube.
So you're going to be on 3 different platforms. this
Right.
morning.
Okay.
There you
Appreciate
go.
it. Thanks.
So no, we appreciate you coming in.
Yeah.
We
glad to be
appreciate
here.
you coming in. And I tell you, I kind of want to direct this, and all 3 of us may shoot questions at you, but I think the first thing is, let's say I'm new to Fayette County, okay? And I have no idea who Stanforth is. I have no idea who Signs is. So why don't you tell us just a little bit about your background, why you want to do it, and, you know, like you're talking to somebody who just moved here.
Okay. Well, I'm Leonard Sines, and I have been in the military. I was a military police in the U.S. Army, and came out as a captain. And I was Ohio Military Police. Been in law enforcement about all my life. Ever since I was 18 years old, I was commissioned as a auxiliary with the village of South Bloomfield. And when I became of age 21, Dwight Radcliffe, sheriff, new sheriff of Pickaway County, hired me as a young deputy. And that's when I started really my law enforcement. I've been in law enforcement ever since. And I've been up to a police chief and got over 380 some police schools in me. I got 2.5 years of college in me, law enforcement. And Stanforth, I don't want to say anything bad about him. I'm running on my own platform, and I hear people complain, and that's the one reason I'm running. Is because all the complaints, and I really want to be the sheriff because I think the county needs a sheriff that's going to be in the county in uniform, and I will be in the county every day. I have no reason to be out of the county doing anything else.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because yesterday I went to the Trump rally in Dayton, and guess who was there?
Yes.
Mr. Stanforth was there. Him and I think a county commissioner and a couple other people were there, and to see the Trump rally. And I've kind of heard you say that before, and I thought, well, Leonard's right. Yeah, here he is up here in Dayton,
Yes.
not in Fayette County, which, right or wrong, it was just an observation. You know,
right.
It's just an observation. Now, yeah, I know you worked in Sabino with me a little bit.
Yes, I did.
Years ago.
I was down there for 9 years.
Did a great job down there for us. You've worked in Green, so you know the area well. Are you
Yes.
originally from Fayette County?
I was born and raised on the farm in Pickaway County.
Pickaway County, so
And,
not too far from
We
here.
moved over here. Me and my wife moved, and kids moved here in 1977.
77. So
Yes.
you've been around a long
We've
time.
been a long time.
And I know you've worked in Greenfield and Sabina.
Yes.
So you probably have a very good relationship with the other departments
Oh,
that are in the
yes.
county. Yeah,
And I was a deputy sheriff here in this county here for 9 years.
for 9 years. Okay, now with this is a dumb question, but it just hit me. Are there any other small police departments in Fayette County, or does the sheriff
No.
take care of everything?
The sheriff takes care of everything.
Sheriff, so it's not like Clinton County where you have Blanchester Police, Sabina, New Vienna, even Port William has their own police. Or
Yes.
they did. I think they still do. And over here, it's all sheriff,
All sheriff's department.
except for Washington Courthouse. Obviously,
well,
they
they've
have
got their own police department, yeah.
department, but that makes sense. I didn't realize that till now. Yeah, you thought you would think New Holland maybe, or Jeffersonville, or Good Hope would have their own.
Well, see, just part of New Holland, about 25% is on it in Fayette County.
Rest
Yeah,
of
That-
75%
that's right,
is
yeah.
in Pickaway County.
Pickaway
Yep.
County. Okay. Now, So you're running for this position. You've wanted to run before, and then for some reason you weren't allowed to get on the ballot,
Yes.
and you're finally on the ballot.
Yes.
And I tell you what, I see a lot of support for you. I see a lot of signs for signs out
Right,
there.
yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of them, and it was pretty funny. I saw on a website yesterday. They said, "Is this the sheriff that you want?" And it had all these Democratic signs, and then stand for sign.
Yes.
So you might want to use that to your
Yeah.
advantage, because I assume Fayette County's like Clinton County, where it's pretty much Republican,
Yes.
isn't it?
Well, it's not really that. The independents has really come up,
Okay.
and there's over 11,000 independents right now in
Wow,
the
that's
county.
pretty strong.
And there's a little over 4,000 Republicans and just a little bit over 1,000 Democrats.
So the independents, and I think that's probably happening all over. More people are calling themselves independent
Yes.
than they are Republican or Democrat, because they're so fed up with both the parties and the way
That's
they
right.
fight.
They
Yeah.
are.
And so, so you are eminently qualified with your background
Yes, sir,
to
I
be
am.
sheriff of the county here, and so you sort of touched on it. You didn't actually say it. Are there things specifically that you see that you, as sheriff, would want to change in the way the sheriff's department is operated, or?
Well, there's a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse of government funds in the county sheriff's department, and I like to calm that down. I am one that don't like to spend money when it's not mine.
Fiscally conservative.
I like
that's it.
I like to take care of the taxpayers' money.
Right.
And I really believe that a sheriff should be in his own county in uniform. Right now, you go to the sheriff's department, you have to talk onto a red phone to talk to somebody. I want to have an open door policy. I want people to come in and they can sit down and talk to me anytime they want. I don't care if it's a citizen or one of my employees. They come in and talk to me anytime. Right now, you can't talk to the sheriff because I worked for him and I couldn't talk to him. And I really believe that you have to have
The communication. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, and I like that idea about an open door policy too. And I tell you what, that's what makes you in the job of a mayor, the job of a sheriff, is your employees. Because if you have good employees, that's the key to any success, really, in any business. If you got people that you can count on. Mm-hmm. One thing, when I was mayor of Sabina, it was nice because I get letters complaining about something, then the next day they'd be thanking me because we got it done that quick, and I didn't even know about it till after the fact. But that's how good the employees were.
Yes.
They just went and got it done, and then I would go and compliment the employees. Thanks for taking care of this in such a timely manner. Now, did they pass, or is Fayette County getting a new jail over here, or is that?
Fayette County Jail was just about built.
Where's it located?
It's on Robinson Road.
Okay.
And it's run right in front of the dump out there, Fayette County dump, and garbage disposer, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And it's probably about 90% done right now.
Okay.
How many beds does it have?
That I do not know.
So,
They have never.
I'm trying to think of the Clinton County facility has a couple hundred,
Oh,
200.
I don't think you have that many, do they?
I thought they had like 200 or something like that.
I don't think you have that many. No, I think it's probably like 50 or 60. Yeah.
You don't think that they have two?
They don't have that many.
Yeah.
Actually, I spent a night in the Clinton County Jail.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was pretty, but it was funny.
Was this voluntary?
Yes, it was voluntary. and this might be something to think about too. Guy Durham, how you doing? He's watching us today. But this might be something, if you get in, you might want to think about doing. At that time, they had several of the student councils from the schools in the Clinton County.
So are you saying you were in student council?
I was a student council advisor, and we went over and spent a night in the county.
Sort of like a
lockup.
sleepover at the lockup.
So they could just practice the systems, make sure everything's
right.
working right.
Oh,
and,
okay.
And they fed us breakfast the next morning. It was pretty neat,
Yeah.
actually. It
Good
was.
food?
The bed sucked, but I mean, yeah.
Well, it was probably just a metal bed or something.
It was concrete.
Concrete.
Yeah, it's concrete with
Like a little pad.
A little pad on it. Yeah.
Kind of makes you not want to go back, Charlie.
I can still remember. Yeah. Yeah. I tell people I spent a night in jail. They're like, "Oh my, Mr. Hargrave, what'd you do?" And it's like, but that's not a bad idea.
Yeah,
Get
that's
you
right.
some volunteers. Maybe get some kids over there. or whoever. I mean, maybe get the Republican Central Committee in there or something. Put them in there
Well,
for
there's
a
one
night.
thing that I'd like to start up is the Sheriff's Explorer group, the young boys and girls,
Oh yeah,
teenagers, get them involved in Explorers and let them, have their own little group in there. I think that'd be a good experience for them.
well yeah, especially like kid. Well, the only problem there's no kids that can go to law enforcement like at Laurel Oaks because they don't offer at Laurel Oaks. It's like clear down Scarlet Oaks or something. But anybody's interested in going into that, definitely. I know the only department I can think of that does that is the Cincinnati Police Department. They have their cadet program.
Okay.
Which is the only reason I know about that is pretty neat. But this year, I think a young girl got shot. I don't think it was with the cadet program. I think she was just in it.
You mean this was an accident?
Well, no, I don't know that it was. She was. I don't think she was acting as a cadet at the time.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? She was just in the program, and I hate to say it, but when you live in these big cities anymore, who knows?
Yeah, it's not safe sometimes.
What's the top three things like you want to try to reduce more in Fayette County? I mean, what's like you're elected sheriff. Okay, look, here's my three main goals. What would those be?
Well, my main goal one is to get the people more protection. I hear every time I go out, I hear people saying they never see a cruiser, they never see a deputy, they never see the sheriff. I want to have a cruise on all these back county roads. That is where a lot of your problems happen, your thefts, your break-ins, and I think that would be deter a lot of the crime in the county. Is have a cruiser.
Visibility. Yeah, visibility is important.
Yes,
yeah.
that's right. And then the other thing is, I like to see the deputies and all the employees have more and better training and schooling. And I think they really need it. The update schooling about every 3 months, you find a new school coming up.
Yeah.
And I think we need a lot more schooling and training. And I want to be there for the public. Anytime somebody needs to talk to me or one of my deputies employees, they're welcome to come in and sit down and talk, or we'll come out to their homes or business, sit down and talk with them. So I think that's the most important things there to take care of the people.
What about crimes though? I mean, what about like, okay, you know what? There's way too much of this happening. What can we do to knock this out?
Well,
what's like your top two or three that you? I mean, is it burglaries? Is it drugs? Is it I don't know what else?
Drugs is the number one thing right now.
Right.
And we got to get the big dealers coming into the county. If you don't get the big dealers, they're just going to keep right on flowing in. You got to shut off the supply, and that's what I aim to do: shut the supply off. And people's on the drugs, I'll try to help them to get rehabilitated so we can be back and they'll have a good life.
So much of what we see as far as crime is a direct result of drugs.
Yes, it is.
And so if you can decrease the amount of drug use, or like you say, the drugs that are coming into the county, then you're gonna reduce the crime just by doing that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, you can't work 9 to 5 and get anything done. It's a 24-hour day.
Round
It's
the
a
clock.
big job.
Right.
Todd Blocker says there's 92 beds in Clinton County, which that surprised me. I'm surprised there's that many.
Yeah,
to be honest.
I thought it was a fairly.
That's pretty big because when you see the roster, I assume Fayette County does that too. They put out the Fayette County inmates. Like Clinton County does. They put out.
You mean
Clinton
online?
County, online,
Right.
yeah. And you only maybe see 40 at the most.
Yeah, and I don't know whether that's just because maybe it's the most recent, the 40 most recent
I
that are
would say
arrested.
no. I'd say that's who's being held at that time.
It's possible.
Because and I don't know about Fayette County's judicial system, and I'm not going to try to get you. I'm not going to try to pin you in a corner on this, but I know it seems like Clinton County's judicial system anymore is just a slap on the hand. And I'm not going to get you. You don't have to answer that, but I mean, is that something?
I think a lot of them is.
You
it's
think
the
a lot
same,
of it?
yes.
Okay. Yeah, that wasn't a gotcha question. That's just, I mean, that's my opinion. It seems like, you guys go out and do this stuff, you get them put away, or you can get them put away, and then the judge just goes, it's okay, come back.
Well, sometimes they're gone before the paperwork's done.
That's
what
true,
I mean.
yeah.
It's just, I don't like it.
But I don't question the judges what they do. And
Right.
just like I had one person say about the prisoners, he says, are you going to judge the prisoners and treat them like they're dirt and all that? I said, no, they're human beings. It's not my job to judge anybody in there. It's the judge's job.
Right.
And I've got them in there because they were arrested for a crime, and it's up to the judge to say, yes, you're guilty, not guilty. It's not me.
Right.
And I have a lot of people that was in jail when I worked there that's my friends nowadays come up and shake my hand and thank me.
Yeah.
And I don't believe in treating anybody bad that's in jail.
No, I agree. But I also think if you're going to deter crime, you should do the time.
That's right.
Yeah, what that used to be like a TV show. You remember that?
You do the crime, you do the time.
Yeah, you do the crime. Is that Beretta? Oh my God, I'm dating.
Oh, yeah, the one with the parrot.
Yeah, you
or
remember
Mac,
him? Yeah,
what is
remember
it?
him? Was that show? You remember
I
that?
think so.
You do the crime, you do the time. That or Kojak back in the days. Oh,
Columbo.
that's like yesterday. A lady at the rally, the Trump rally. Here's Trump's plane, and she's just joking around. She goes, "The plane, the plane." I said, "Man, you're dating yourself right now." She goes, "I am old. Live with it." You know, I'm like, okay. It was funny because she didn't look that old.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I like mine, Clint Eastwood. Make my day.
make
Yeah,
my day.
yeah.
There you go. Make
a big
my day.
44 Magnum there.
Yeah. So now I'm curious about this because I kind of want to get a law enforcement perspective on this. Okay, marijuana seems to be just coming, it's legal,
It's like smoking a cigarette or a cigar or a pipe anymore.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, I mean, it used to be, well, marijuana is a gateway drug. You got to watch it, which I think cigarettes could be a gateway drug. Everybody I knew in college that smoked cigarettes also smoked pot.
Yeah.
That's just what
Well,
it
if you're in
was.
college, the majority of people probably are smoking pot.
Well, and see, this is where I'm just, what's the word? This is kind of all new to me, but it seems like there's a lot more people that do that than I realize.
Yes, there is.
And so what's your feelings on that? I mean, is it just one of those things where they're making it legal anyhow? We just kind of, you're after like the big stuff,
The big
aren't you?
stuff. The big stuff that really gets you hooked onto it and is a killer.
Yeah, and
Well, that's
fentanyl's
the thing
probably
we
the
need to
biggest thing,
stop.
right?
Fentanyl,
Yes.
meth.
Yes.
There's probably not that. Is there
Crack
much
and all the hard
cocaine?
stuff. Yes.
Is there much cocaine in
Not
Probably
as,
more
not as much.
crack.
Yes.
Right.
Heroin, I remember when I was mayor, the police said heroin is the hardest drug to get off of.
Yeah.
Is
it
that true?
Yes.
They say it usually takes about 2 years after you've quit to literally get it out of your system.
Yes.
So,
I just don't get it.
And I have a lot of guys on my Facebook. If you guys ever looked on my Facebook, that's been on it and are clean now.
right.
And you see the difference in the pictures when they're.
Oh my
when they're
gosh,
Oh.
yes.
like
Same thing with
Walking
yeah,
Dead.
same thing with meth. I mean,
Yeah.
if there's
Meth is,
anything,
yeah.
you look at these people that they look like they're 60 years old,
Yes.
and they're
Now they're
only
looking
like
great.
30, and then once they're off it, just for a maybe 6 months or whatever, it's dramatic the difference in how they look.
Magi Jake says he's got my vote for sheriff. That'd be okay, Magi Jake, but I don't think you live in Fayette County. Brenda Barnes is watching. Chris Walls laugh out loud, but then Chris Walls, I don't know what Chris was laughing about. Probably my marijuana thing, because I'm not naive. I'm very naive about it. And Chris Walls goes, smart guy. So
Right.
and that's why we're here trying to introduce Leonard. And, Leonard and I, we've known each other for years and years.
Yes.
I have a lot of respect for Leonard, and I don't have any disrespect for Sheriff Stanforth. I don't know him that well. I did see him yesterday, and I about said something to him, and I didn't, because I kind of wanted to see if he'd say something to me.
But
that
I
make
do need to
sense?
cut in for a
You
minute,
do. Go ahead.
because it's 9 a.m. and you are listening to WZAA 106.9 LPFM in Jeffersonville, Ohio. This is the Morning Zoo. Back to you, Charlie.
And Magi Jake, I think you're in Highland County, brother. I think. Okay, I'm not sure exactly where you do live, but I think you're in Highland County. So when you're talking drugs, let's get right at it. I mean, you're looking like I said, the meth, the heroin,
Crack.
Is there a lot of crack?
There's not as much crack as there used to be.
Okay.
It's gone to the other harder stuff. And it's,
A lot of it, I think, it probably it's sort of a cycle because they cracked down on meth, as an example, did away with the ingredients, made it harder to get those. And so then heroin suddenly dropped in price and became cheaper. Right. So now more and more.
It's cheaper than a 12-pack of beer. Is that right?
I don't know, but I would say that it's like anything else. It's a business to the drug dealers, and they've got to keep the product flowing, or they've got to change the product that they're selling in order to be able to. And that's the bad thing about it in law enforcement. You go out and you're eradicating one part of the hydra, and another part of it crops up. Yes, it's a never-ending type of thing that you have to just keep being diligent on.
And you got to really be educated all the time, updating education of what's going on with all the drugs.
Right.
If not, you're left behind. And I think that's what's happening nowadays is a lot of the law enforcement's not getting enough training and enough cooperation with other departments to get that done. And I plan on going around to all the county and all the police departments and having meetings with them and get the cooperation back in where it used to be back years ago. And right now it's like every department runs its own department and don't want anything to do with anybody else. But I think everybody needs to stick together to fight this thing.
So the sheriff's department, when you need assistance, for instance, let's say there's a crime that involves investigation that maybe some of the things that are used in evaluating a crime scene. We have a state agency that actually helps local agencies.
The London BCI, Bureau of Criminal Investigation.
And so
it comes down and helps. It doesn't cost anything. And they do a good job. There's a bunch of good guys there that does investigations. And plus they got a good school there too, good training. And plus the State Highway Patrol Academy up there, they have a training of different schools too that we can go to their schools also.
Right.
And right now, a lot of the sheriff's departments don't want anything to do with the state patrol. It's a bickering thing between them. But I like the state patrol to help out.
Right.
I've been friends with a lot of them for a lot of years. And I've already met with several of them that are willing to come back in the county and help us out.
So as an example, in the hierarchy of law enforcement in the county, in Fayette County as an example, you have individual police department, an individual police department like Washington Courthouse, and they're responsible for the incorporated area of Washington Courthouse. And then as far as the sheriff takes care of crime and enforcement anywhere in the county, right?
Sheriff can go anywhere.
And the highway patrol is similar in nature, I assume. They can go anywhere in the state and enforce the law. And then now we don't have like a coroner. We have to if there's
a coroner.
Is there a coroner?
Yeah.
Now does the coroner in Fayette County, because I've often heard that the coroner is actually the top law enforcement official.
The coroner is the only one over the sheriff.
So that is true.
Yes.
So the coroner in each county is the top.
They are the top law.
Top law.
Huh.
Interesting. Yeah.
I learned something.
Well, I
today.
I didn't think that. I know that. Well, no, I don't mean that. I just mean that I wasn't aware of the fact that we had I knew we had one in Clinton County, but I wasn't sure that every county had a coroner.
The one coroner, but he passed away and scared me because he had the same procedure I had, and he died from it. He had an ablation in his heart, and he died on the table. Mr. Gay, Dr. Gay. Christopher Wall says heroin and meth are the main ones. He said, leave those weak guys alone. Laugh out loud. I don't smoke, but the worst thing a pothead did was eat his best friend's last Twinkie. Chris Walls, he also says, I truly believe marijuana helps folks. And I think there's some
truth certain
in
aspects that have been proven scientifically that, for instance, people with glaucoma, there are things that, I guess some of the products that can be produced that are not, going to get you high, the use of hemp, and they use it in clothing. There's a lot of things that it can be used for. So I think that there's probably as many positives as there are, basically negatives. But I don't think, I know that, like you said, Charlie, that they originally said that it was sort of the gateway drug. I think that there's any number of things that can be gateways to stronger things. alcohol, which is a legal
And when
drug.
you think about it, you can buy alcohol anywhere,
Sure.
at the
Right.
gas station, at the grocery store, and people die from drinking and driving and
Yes.
all sorts of accidents caused by alcohol all the time, but yet it's been legal for
Yeah.
how long?
Well, since Prohibition.
I mean,
So, but any way you look at it, what it really comes down to is the fact that when it and they've actually talked about at the federal level trying to make marijuana legal. So you as a sheriff will just have to deal with whatever the law is and enforce it, accordingly, I guess.
Well, I look at it as just like she's saying, the alcohol, the beer, the whiskey, the cigarettes.
I mean,
It's all in
cigarettes
the
have been
same
proven to
line.
cause lung
Yeah.
cancer, but we still have cigarettes.
Yeah.
And you
Chewing
look at the price of
tobacco,
a pack of cigarettes
and people
nowadays.
buy them
Right.
like they're
Yeah.
going
$7,
out of
$8 a
style.
pack. Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, but they still buy them.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because it is extremely addictive. Yeah.
But the hard drugs and stuff like that is an instant killer. That's what I'm after.
Right.
We need to stop that and keep them out of the counties. I think all the counties around should work together.
Well, sure.
And we used to do that back in the old days when I was with Dwight Radcliffe over at Pickaway County and in the city of Circleville Police Department. Every month they had a meeting in the counties all around, in the villages and police departments and state patrol. We had a meeting once.
So
a
there
month.
was like a coordination of
Yes.
what was going
And
on.
we had a class.
Right.
We got a certificate. We got our lunch, and everybody talked about they had a burglary someplace. Well, another county said, "Well, I had the same type of burglary." They had a
You could
lot
compare
of,
notes.
Yeah, they had a lot of people compare the notes. Had a lot of crime stopped that way too, and a lot of arrests made out of that.
Yeah, because the
and
county.
That's what I like to bring back.
Yeah, the county line doesn't stop crime. Crime
it
goes
doesn't.
across county lines. It goes
Right.
across state lines, and so the more you can communicate with other agencies,
That's right.
the easier it is to stop those kinds of things.
It's like you have 50 investigators instead of just one or two.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. Good
Natalie
point.
Rhodes says, I agree with Christopher Walls as long as it's clean without additives. Are you finding a
And
lot
that's
of
the
that?
problem.
Are you finding a lot of that where, marijuana has been laced with stuff or
Yes.
not? Really?
Yes.
Even fentanyl,
Yes.
and that's
That can kill
fentanyl.
you.
Yeah.
Fentanyl is so
I
dangerous.
mean, and they can lace just about anything with it
They
these
said
days.
like a pinhead can kill I don't know how many people, but it's very powerful.
Chris Walls said, I've done way worse while drinking than I ever did when I did smoke. And Todd Blocker says need the judges to enforce and back arrests. Well, we kind of mentioned that already.
I think that a lot of people would say, and that's any law in general. We have probably more laws on the books than we really need. We just need to enforce the laws that are on the books. And it can be frustrating when law enforcement does that. And then you get to a judge, and the judge, and I understand, there's two sides to every coin, and that's what they're there to make judgment, but at the same time,
Well, I think another big problem is that a lot of laws are written so that people do jail time instead of going to rehabilitation centers. And spending time sitting in a jail cell isn't going to rehabilitate someone with a drug
Right.
issue.
actually you may end up conferencing
You
with other
may
criminals.
end up just spending time sitting there talking about your addiction, getting out and wanting to use more. I mean, and then having more people to help you deal drugs, or building bigger cycles in which to do so. So that's not going to help you get it better.
Heat
So-
Wave is here. You know Daryl Andrew Heater, the Heat Wave, do you?
Yeah, the
he
brain claw.
He's been on our show before. He's watching right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's from Circleville.
that's right. He's from Circleville.
Yeah. So the lace stuff is really rough. I tell you, I'm assuming you know this, and if you don't, again, it's not a gotcha. It's just I have no clue, and I'm sure you have a clue. How many people actually work at the sheriff's department? Just a number.
Right now, I don't have a clue.
Really?
I don't know even half.
I bet it would surprise everybody how many people work at the sheriff's
Well, I mean, there's different areas of the
Probably
sheriff
40,
department.
50, I bet, at least.
Yeah, very possibly.
I bet. That's something I would
Well,
be
they used
interested
to,
to know.
Do we
have
know
on
what
their
the budget
Facebook-
is? Is there an annual budget that are you aware
Yes,
of?
there's annual budget.
And do we know how much that is?
No.
So these are things obviously that you want to take a better look at as sheriff.
But they used to have a Facebook and have all the listed, all the auxiliaries and all the
Right.
deputies and their positions. And they took that off. It's not on there anymore. And like you said, the list of the criminals that's in jail, they don't have that on Facebook anymore.
They
So,
should.
Yeah, so.
They should, because that way people kind of know, you know? I mean,
Yes.
if you deal with, like, I've had people friend request me that I know I've seen, like, in the county lockup, and I really think twice before I accept those friend requests, because, now, how do you feel? I mean, does the sheriff's department, do you guys do the DARE program here in Fayette County?
They used to.
They don't anymore?
I'm not sure. I haven't heard about it for a long time.
And what about community watches? Do they do that?
Not for a long time.
Okay.
I plan on bringing a lot of that stuff back. And they had a real good DARE officer, Denny Cotner, and he was really great at it. And we plan on bringing some of them things back. And I think it's good for
I
the
feel like
kids.
you really got to teach kids about this stuff when
Yes,
they're
you
young.
got to start in a younger age and teach them up through there. Because starting at age about 13, that's when I think the explorers
Start to
should
experiment.
and start getting the kids into
And you get curious about these things, and maybe you don't know what it is, or you don't feel comfortable asking your parents about it.
Yes.
Or they see
And
their
so you
parents
just
using
try it.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other
know,
thing, Charlie. You're
yeah.
right. A lot of
That's
parents,
true.
that's unfortunate, but a lot of kids, and that's where they learn in the first place
They do.
is from their parents.
Yeah. So, definitely this young group, trying to get like a young group of sheriff, what did you call them earlier? The sheriff's
Explorers.
explorers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I think neighborhood watches are definitely a good idea. Kim, the lady sometimes that comes on our show with us, she's trying to get one of those going in Sabina right now. They have one, but it hasn't been real active, so she's trying to get it going, and they got really confused. They thought she was trying to be a vigilante, and it's like, no,
she
just wanted to be
decided to
but neighborhood watch. Now
be
let
a little
me,
proactive.
and that's something we haven't really talked about was, and maybe we shouldn't. I don't know. Do we have much problem? Is there? I don't really think there is. So I say you could just say, no, there's really not much problem. Is there much problem like with racial divide or Black Lives Matter stuff?
In Fayette County, no.
I didn't think so.
There's a lot of good people in Fayette County.
Yeah.
And it seems like everybody gets along, and you don't have this bickering back and forth like you see on the news.
And there's certainly plenty of diversity, so it's not a case where we're talking a situation like that. But the other thing, and of course the big thing nationwide, is defunding police departments and reducing law enforcement, and the way that people are, especially particular people portraying police departments and the police. It's a decade ago, it would have been absolutely unheard of for anyone to attack a police officer or to actually shoot a police officer. And today, it's almost as though, you're a police officer, you take those chances.
That's right.
And these are things obviously in a local sheriff's department, maybe the size of Fayette County, that isn't as big an issue. And certainly there's no one in the county going to say we want to defund our sheriff's department or the Washington Courthouse Police Department. But we know in the bigger cities that's certainly happening. And it's something that I guess you'd still have to be aware of and be on top of, because you never know when people are going to change their mind about things like that.
Hillsborough and Wilmington both had like little Black Lives Matter
protests.
I don't think, did Washington Courthouse ever have one? I don't think so.
I don't know.
I hadn't seen.
What do you do when you're in a case of domestic violence? You call 911 and the police department's defunded. Who comes to help you?
Yeah, no one does.
No one,
yeah.
I guess. So you pray to God but keep rowing ashore? Like, then what do you do?
Well, and we've talked about this before. Really, the whole fault of our system right now is there is no place for people that are addicted to go. Yeah, they all say, well, we want to rehabilitate them. But the places that used to do that, they basically have defunded all those.
Right.
And that's the issue. Instead of building maybe some jails, I'm not talking about Fayette County. I'm talking about statewide.
Build some rehab centers.
Build
Right.
some
Build
rehab
some
centers.
And it doesn't
psychiatric
have to be as
centers
expensive
where
as it
people can
is.
get therapy.
Because that's the problem. The problem right
Exactly.
now is that
It doesn't need to be the passages of Malibu.
even
help
if
people.
even if you look at a lot of the rehab centers, they're so extremely expensive that you can only spend maybe a month at the most, if that. before your insurance runs out, and
Proper
that's
care
not enough
doesn't need
time.
to
This
be
is an
expensive.
ongoing thing. Yeah.
Chris Walls, he said, I spent a spell in jail a lifetime ago. I truly believe a mandatory 30-day sentence if you're caught with heroin or meth or overdose would absolutely deter them. No one wants to lose their freedom, and it helps dry them out. It won't work with all, but some is a win. Hard part is having room in the jails to do it. Yeah, but I think you're right. I think there needs to be, instead of the slap on the hand, go home, that needs to
And
be
you can
done.
still sentence someone to a rehab center just like you could putting them in jail. So
Right.
it's not a case where
But
they
if
could
there's
just
no
walk away.
kind of therapy where
It-
you talk about what you're doing wrong, or some kind of realization, like wake up call, like, hey, I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah.
What stops you from being like, hey, I did something wrong. Why shouldn't I just leave here and keep doing the same exact thing?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't understand
Like-
too that there's a cost that's involved that you don't really see, but the cost of drugs, like we said, is crime. Theft. Burglary.
Robbery,
All those kinds of things, and so
breaking and
it's worth the
entering.
investment to invest in a lot
I
of
mean, even if you're
prohibitive
bringing
types of things where you're
therapists
stopping.
into jails
Yeah.
to do sessions. I mean,
It's better than nothing.
Yeah.
Of course, he has no control over that as a
Yeah, of
sheriff, but I
course.
think you agree with us.
Yes,
Yeah.
I do agree with you 100%.
So what do you think? And this may be something interesting too. And if you don't know, that's fine. These aren't gotcha. It's just I think it'd be interesting if I was a resident of Fayette County. What does the sheriff even get? What's his salary a year?
Well, last I heard, it's around 79,000 a year.
79, which that's really not terrible because I mean I figured it'd be more.
No, I wouldn't complain on that.
I figured you were going to say six figures somewhere.
No.
So
Well,
79. I'm not. That's not too.
Yeah, a
bad.
lot of it depends on the size of the
Size of the
agency and the county, and a lot of school district superintendents are making six figures.
Oh
So
yeah.
you think
That's what I mean.
You think about the importance
Yeah.
of your top law enforcement official, maybe other than the coroner,
Right.
but that.
and your coroner is obviously a medical doctor. So.
Right, but still, even $80,000 a year doesn't seem like a lot. To be
For all that
paid.
responsibility.
That's right. That is a lot of
That's
responsibility.
a lot of weight to
And,
carry.
and the population of Fayette County is what, 35,000, 40, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Not quite sure.
Yeah, I think Clinton County is about that size, and I know that I thought that Fayette was similar. Hillsborough,
Maybe a little less.
yeah,
possibly.
Highland, Fayette, and Clinton are all in that general area of
I
size,
think
but.
this county's just more spread out, but the population's pretty.
That's probably
comparable.
there are a few larger, when I say villages, in
Right.
Clinton County than Fayette County. But
Well, I look for this county to start growing real fast because, you got a lot of these factories coming into our areas now,
You
which
got the
is great.
Menards coming in.
Yeah.
Right.
So
And you got McKesson's moving out by
Right.
Jeffersonville, big place out there.
and Fayette
You'll have
County,
a lot more homes built and a lot more people come here to
and
go
it's
to work.
it's in a unique position, being not that far from Columbus, and that's part of with our studio here in Jeffersonville. We're fairly close to both Cincinnati, Dayton, and Columbus, and Fayette County's right there.
Definitely. Well, what's some other things? Like I said to the voters, how long has the current sheriff been sheriff?
Since 97. 24 years.
23, 24 years.
almost
wow.
as long as I've been alive.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, what? If nothing else, I mean, it does seem like it's almost time for a change. You know what I'm saying? Just that's a long time for anybody
Yeah.
to serve. Is he old enough that he could just go ahead and retire? See, I
Yes.
don't even know.
The thing that I always said is any politician, I don't care who it is, 2 terms and that should be it. 2 4-year terms.
And people have to realize, unlike in most police cases, police department chiefs are appointed by the mayor or the city council
Right.
or the city commissioners. There's someone that actually appoints that person to fill that spot. But a sheriff is actually
elected.
Elected and
by the
closer to
people.
the public, because
Yes.
obviously you have to answer to your constituents, and that's why you see a lot of sheriffs when it comes to the 2A movement and being able to bear weapons and things like that to protect yourself. Sheriffs are a lot more responsive to the public in helping, because obviously being elected and being appointed are two different animals, I guess you could say.
Well, that's why I'm running. I think that the county needs a sheriff that's going to be in the county, and I will be in the county. And I think the sheriff needs to go out and communicate with people to find out what's really going on all the time. And you need deputies on these back county roads. And this is the thing I've been here. The other thing is they don't, half the people that I talk to don't even know who the sheriff is. And that's bad.
Yeah, I agree.
You should really know who your sheriff is. You should be able to sit down and talk with him and see him. He should be allowed to come out to your house, sit down and talk with you. And I've talked to a lot of people in the last 3 or 4 months, and that's the thing I'm hearing is they never see a deputy on the county roads. They never see the sheriff. And I plan on changing that real fast.
So are you hitting the door-to-door stuff? Are you
Well,
been doing that yet, or is it a
I'm
little
doing
early?
it just myself because I don't want nobody in my back pocket. I
Right.
don't have anybody that I have to answer to on that. But I'm for everybody. I don't care whether Democrat, Republican, Independent, Green Party, whoever it is. I work for everybody,
Right.
and I don't want to work for a certain group.
Well, truly, that is true. I mean,
Yes.
the sheriff works for everyone in the county.
Right. And so that tells me that I need to go out and talk to the people and communicate with them to see what's really going on. Hi, buddy.
Here's your
my buddy here.
police dog.
Todd Blocker he knows of a case that an addict wanted help and was finally accepted, but a Montgomery County judge fought her application over a 3-year-old parking ticket, and a Greene County judge overruled him. Chris Walls, just joking, says that color looks fabulous on Rick, just saying. Magi Jake just wanted to let you know when you become sheriff, I'm going to be praying for your protection against criminals. God bless my friend. Magi Jake was one of our guests last week. And Chris Walls says he would totally wear that color when he's your age. When he's your age.
When he's my age,
he's
67.
he's being
67, Chris.
Being silly on there. Chris, you're not too far from that, are you? No, I'm just kidding. So what else? I mean, I want to hear more. I mean, I get the communication part, and that's key. What about, like with your employees, you say you're going to have open communication with them.
Yes, they should be allowed to come to my office or anytime they want to talk to me.
Yep.
And we need to communicate and work together.
Right.
Communicate 'em.
Well, Trump talked about that yesterday. He said they had this big ship that they were working on in the Reagan, Gerald Ford. And this thing was so over budget, and they couldn't get
carrier, aircraft.
Yeah, they
carrier.
couldn't get the planes to take off right because they were using electric instead of steam, and they were having problems with the elevator inside, just bringing the airplanes up. And Trump said, "I need to talk to somebody on that ship, find out what's going on." And they said, "Okay, well, we'll get the admirals for you." He said, "No, I don't want to talk to the admirals." He says, "I want to talk to the guys that are in charge of getting the elevators. They're in charge of the elevators. Right. I want to talk to the people who are in charge of getting the planes, shot off the ship." And that's who he went and talked with. And they decided, after a short conversation, to change it over to steam. And then the elevators they changed to a different deal also. And it was something they'd already done before.
So in other words, they got the ship
fixed,
working.
but instead of going to
yes men,
the admirals or whatever, he went right to the root of the problem, and they fixed it. How do you? Maybe you don't want to answer this. How do you like Trump as a leader?
Trump is great.
I think so too. I think
I'm not in favor of any socialist.
Right. No, I agree wholeheartedly. He's a little brash, but I like him, man.
Yes.
That's
just like I'm
you know
the
where he
same way.
stands.
I'm from the old country,
right?
The old ways of doing things. I'm not this modern stuff like a lot of people are, and I believe in telling the people just the way it is, and I don't tell something that I don't mean just to get their votes.
I
tell
don't
them
prefer
exactly.
a yes man.
Right.
I want
I'm
to hear
not
the
a yes
truth.
man.
Yep.
Another thing people may not realize, and it seems like a lot of jobs, especially like in government or even education now, is you have to deal with so much paperwork.
Yeah.
Is that where a sheriff will get tied down, or does he have staff that does most of that paperwork
No,
for
the
him?
staff does most of the paperwork.
Okay, because I could see somebody getting really tied down with having to do, jump through them hoops.
That's why you have assistants.
Right. Okay. I can't ask that. I was going to just ask, and you don't have to answer this. I assume that everybody that's hired through the sheriff's department right now will be pretty safe for a while in their own position.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Because I mean, as a sheriff, don't you have the ability, if you wanted to move like lieutenants around or?
Yeah, oh yes, I can do that. But the thing is that by state law, I cannot fire anybody,
Okay.
and and I don't intend to.
So who actually can?
County commissioners, I assume.
They either quit, or if they really do something wrong to get into really bad trouble, then we can get rid of them. But me just walk in and say, I don't like you, you're gone. That does not
Some
happen.
positions are like that in
Yes.
government. Some
Yeah.
positions
So
you can do that.
Is
Yeah.
now do the deputies in this county, do they have cameras on them, or some of them have?
do. I've seen. Yes.
Right. Okay.
Grandma, Magi Jake's grandma says hi. So everybody, hi,
Hello,
Grandma.
Grandma. How are
you?
Hi.
She was in here last week. I think
Okay.
we about mortified her, but she was okay. She survived.
But the other thing I wanted to tell you too is all these old cases that's been put on the shelf that hasn't been investigated right.
So these are like cold cases you're
Cold
talking about?
cases, We're going to get them off the dusty shelves, and we're going to investigate the cold cases. I have had numerous of complaints about the little girl getting burned up in Jeffersonville. That will be a top case.
How long ago has that been?
That
Now?
was 2006. That will
Dang,
be one
I
of the
remember
cases we'll
that.
finally get somebody to investigate it and hopefully get a good answer from that.
So the sheriff's there are investigators
Oh yeah,
that are specialists in investigating in the sheriff's department,
yeah.
or is everybody an investigator?
Well, he has some investigators, but I firmly believe that they haven't been to as many schools that they should be. That's what I said about I need to get people more schooling and training, bring them up to today's date on all the training and schooling. And I believe that they need more.
Well, even when I was mayor in Sabina, we had somebody who was strictly in charge of investigations. Bud, you remember
And I would imagine there's probably some deputies that are more investigating drug crimes, as an example. There, because obviously, the more you are doing a certain
Right.
job,
They got
the better you become.
I'm not just quite sure what they do now, but I've got deputies that I would put on as like a drug task force.
Right.
And then it's plain investigators investigate all the other things. We need all that taken care of and have answers.
Well,
and if possible, make arrests out of them.
And that's something you haven't heard of lately. I remember years ago where the counties and I want to say BCI, does that sound right?
Mm-hmm.
Would come down and they would have, like what you were talking about earlier, a multi-county task force going after the drug dealers.
But doesn't
Well, they got the
I haven't
23
heard that in a
pipeline.
while.
Yeah, Warren County.
I haven't heard
and
about
I think
that
Warren
much,
County
yeah.
and Clinton County still cooperate with each other as far as in drug enforcement, because and I think they also maybe there are like probation enforcements where they'll go to the bars and they'll look for people that shouldn't be in them and those kinds of things. But so I think Warren and Clinton cooperate that way. But I don't know about Fayette County with any of the other agencies.
Well, what do you think about like Corona enforcement?
To me,
Waste of time.
you got that right. I think it's all political.
Okay.
I really do. I know there's some people that gets that corona,
Oh
but
yeah.
it's no worse than you going out and getting the flu.
Right.
You had more deaths in the flu than you had this corona. But I feel sorry for the people that has this corona or flu or anything.
Right.
But I think they've blown it way out of proportion for political reasons.
And a lot of sheriff, in particular the sheriffs that are in the state, they say it's up to the health department
Yes.
to enforce these mask violations and all that,
Right.
rather than for the sheriff's department to be using its valuable resources to be worried about someone wearing a mask at Walmart or not.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I even called because I put on car shows, and I even called Clinton County Sheriff's Department, the Blanchester Police Department, some of the local departments where we have the car shows. They said, "Don't worry about it." So we're not enforcing any of that because the health
Stop
department,
wasting our time.
the health department said, "Well, it'll be up to the local." They tell you it's up to the local police departments to enforce it. And I call them, and they say, "We're not
It's
enforcing
like
that.
they're pointing the finger at each other.
We're not enforcing that."
Yeah.
Which I agree with you. They don't have the time to mess with that. So I know how many. Do you have any clue? Like Jeffersonville, they just have one person out here usually on the clock, 24/7, or
No,
no?
they don't. Jeffersonville pays extra money to have a deputy every once in a while.
Right.
Just once in a while.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
You would think they'd have somebody 24/7.
Well, no, I don't think that's the case. I do see a deputy, here in the plaza and also in Jeffersonville frequently. So I'm not saying that we don't have a visible presence,
like
because we do.
24/7, but
But-
we don't drive around 24/7.
No, but they're not they're not like sitting down at Joe's Donut Shop, just sitting there 24/7. But they're out here.
That's a big debate, especially in small villages, because is it cheaper to go ahead and have your own police department and run things with 24/7 coverage, or is it more advantageous to have the sheriff's department? Mount Sterling is a good example. Granted, they're not Fayette County, they're Madison County, but they did away with their local police department, but they have a sheriff there. It's 24/7.
I think that there's been a lot of pressure financially on a lot of counties, a lot of municipalities, a lot of villages. They've combined for instance, their fire districts or their dispatching because it's cheaper. And they're looking at ways they can cut costs but still be able to keep services up.
Yes.
And so I think, when you talk about villages deciding to go with the sheriff's department rather than trying to operate their own police department, when you think about, the costs of vehicles and gasoline and labor and everything else, it's probably, better to go with the sheriff's department. But, there's always, I can remember, because I grew up in Beaver Creek, but I can remember they always said that when Dayton ever incorporated additional areas into their city, that they would always take the brand new fire equipment that was out in the county and they'd move it to somewhere else, and so the people were left with the older equipment after their taxes had paid for the. So I don't know, once again, when you talk about sheriff's departments, when they start taking over these areas and they're not, they don't have a police department, whether that means you get any less service or not, I don't know. But as far as the dispatch time, how long it takes to get, for instance, if we made a phone call here to get a sheriff here, I don't have any of that information. I'm assuming it's posted somewhere.
24/7, because I would think.
Although I don't know that we have that much crime in Jeffersonville either.
No, but you got a lot of area. If you take in the outlet
Well, I mean,
mall
the county in general. In fact, I was just thinking about it on my way back from one of our football games when I was in Mount Orab at Western Brown, and I was thinking, when I crossed into Clinton County, and I thought, I'm forgetting that the sheriff's department has to come all the way down here from Wilmington. In order to be able to, and how do they enforce, and how do they, or how are they able to respond that distance? Because I don't know, do we have like substations? I know that at one time there was talk about putting one here in this mall.
We have one right in the Jeffersonville Township Fire Department.
Okay, there you go. So that's why we probably see frequently, a sheriff's vehicle here.
Yeah, that's a good idea, actually, to have like substations out
Well,
there.
I think that's about the only way you could do it, because it cuts down on response time.
Some of these schools that we've went to, they actually have like a police department substation in the schools, like down in
Which it's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Kroger, I thought they had a substation in Wilmington, even with Wilmington, being right there in downtown Wilmington. I think they had a police presence that would be there and respond from the Kroger there. So you got to think innovatively, I guess,
Yeah.
in order to make sure that you can cover the county.
Does the sheriff's department? I mean, I know when I was the mayor of the village of Sabina, we always lost officers to the sheriff's department or Wilmington Police. Now, does the sheriff's? Is there a high turnover in the department, or is it pretty stable?
Well, I don't know half of them out there right now, so it's been a pretty good turnover here lately.
Really?
And I really think that they need more deputies in the county. I really think they need a pay raise. They're not making enough money. And I'd like to see about getting their pay raise up, if I can deal with the county commissioners, get some more money for the deputies and the employees.
Especially
I
if you're
think they
losing
deserve it.
people. Yeah, if you're losing people, you definitely
Yeah,
want to do that
they-
because you want to keep your good people.
Yeah.
And you would, I assume, at the sheriff level, you would probably lose people to big cities. They would probably go to like Columbus or suburbs of Columbus and that kind of thing.
Yeah,
So
a lot
you've
of
got
it's
to be
also pay.
as far as pay. Yeah.
Yes.
And that's what killed us in Sabina because we were always the training ground, you know.
Yeah.
And some people who didn't make it through the training ground, you know, they were done after serving just a little bit in Sabina.
But you know, the Washington Courthouse Police Department's got a lot of good guys on it, and they do a good job. And the Sheriff's Department's got a lot of good guys. They do a good job. But like I said, I believe in more schooling and more training.
What about super troopers? Are you going to like tell some of these guys that are new that come on, you don't have to stop everybody for everything?
Well, they're going to be trained as soon as they get here. They're going to have to go with the person who's been here for a while and see how that guy does it, or lady. I'm not prejudiced. I put women and men
Sure.
both in there working. I think they both do the same type of job. And I think whoever starts out brand new, I don't care what they're doing, they should work with somebody else for a while to see how you do it on the roads and then in the office and every place.
But you need just super troopers. I just
Yeah.
can't stand it. New people that come out, and because I've been stopped a lot but never ticketed because I DJ.
You are kind of a shady
Well,
looking
no,
guy, Charlie.
I would come home late. You know, the bar's closed and they're fishing.
Yeah.
They're fishing for
What-
daggone
and-
drunks.
but you know
And
that isn't.
I never got ticketed for it.
We-
But I bet you I got
we
stopped.
we
10
call
or
it
15
profiling,
times.
Charlie. But you know,
Yeah, it is profiling.
But you know, when I owned Samuel Walker's there in Wilmington, first of all, most of the police department knew that I wasn't a drinker, so they didn't have to pull me over. But the highway patrol didn't know my vehicle that well, and so they would be, you know, down some alley or something and waiting to, you know, find someone driving by.
in Wilmington.
And I could, you know, there were cases like I would run someone home from work that didn't have a ride, and I can remember a highway patrol, you know, did a U-turn and followed me to see, you know, if there was some reason, I guess, to pull me over because it was, you know, 3-4 o'clock in the morning, and I don't think there's anything wrong with you know, being alert and looking, because obviously people that are out at that time of the morning.
Thing is, you can stop anybody for anything. That's what people don't understand. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, oh well, your front tire touched the center line, or your right tire touched the white line.
Are you saying they would make it up, Charlie?
I'm saying they're full of crap, exactly, and they're just super troopers.
Yeah.
And they get mad at me because I just tell them, look, I didn't do anything wrong. You know, I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, well, they know it.
And I said,
They're ju-
sorry, I haven't been drinking tonight. I'll do whatever test you want me to do. Let's get this over and move on.
Well, my thing is, if they want to be a super trooper like that, they can go to the state patrol that does that all the time on the speeding tickets.
And that's true. Yeah.
But the sheriff's department is different from the police department and state patrol.
But you're all lumped together.
Yes, but we handle things different. We're out there to serve and protect the people,
Yeah.
and you know, that's our most important job right there. Make sure everybody's safe and their property is safe.
Exactly. And that's what I liked here. I tell you, I got into it because we'd have a state patrolman park his car right across from our Moose Lodge in Sabina.
Well, that's convenient.
Well, and I'm like, come on. Yeah, so I brought in the state patrol. We had a meeting about it. I said, yeah, we've got our own police department here in town. We can take care of our own. We can take care of our, you know, if we have the drunks, we can take care of those. They need to be not parked there. I mean, because They're just killing what business we did have down there. Not
You mean police business or do you mean bar business?
both, both actually, if you think about it, And they didn't like me very much, but I didn't put up with stuff like that.
I'm surprised you didn't get pulled over more.
Well, that's probably why I did
Targeted,
get pulled
yeah.
over some, because I don't know. I just believe what's right's right and what's wrong's wrong.
Well,
And I'll tell you.
you know that obviously it's revenue, and so like anything else, there are some that well, what they said that 5 mile stretch on Interstate 71 between Wilmington's two exits gets more tickets than anywhere else in the state, but it's a part of it's because they have a plane that comes out of the Clinton County Airport there,
They do.
and so they catch a lot of people there. But the money's got to come from somewhere, I guess. So unless you're going to build more casinos.
So as far as like the campaign's going, I mean, if anybody wants to make any donations to your campaign, you want to tell us where you're not taking donations?
I don't take donations, no.
So you're self-funding.
Yes, self-funding. My wife and I have saved money for several years planning this, and
You need to let people know that more.
yeah, we've spent over $9,500 of our own money, and I don't want anybody in my back pocket. I work for everybody, not just a handful.
But
And-
I mean, it is a campaign, and that's expensive. I mean,
Yeah, but I don't believe in going out and spending thousands and thousands of dollars on the campaign. I know my opponent there; he's probably spending 20,000-30,000, but I don't want to do that. I get in as a sheriff. I'm not going to spend that money anyway like that. I'm going to be frugal with my money.
Right.
I think
I
we
don't
need to
like
say that
waste, fraud.
again, though.
I don't like waste, fraud, and abuse of government property.
You need to say that again. So who's your campaign donors?
Me, my wife.
That's big, folks. I mean, that's almost a Donald Trump thing there. I mean, it really is. I mean, he takes donations and campaigns, but he doesn't take any pay as president.
Right.
And of course, people
He's
will
not in
argue-
it for the money, is what
People,
you're
well,
saying.
people will argue with you. Well, yeah, he does because he, goes on the golf trips and all that, which you have to have security for. Well, the man can have a life too. I mean, it's not like Obama didn't do any of that stuff, but he is self-funded. Nobody is, like he said, nobody's in his back pocket. That's big, I think. I mean, I would sing that to the world.
And it's easy to check out. You can go on and check it out through the county.
Yeah, but you need
who
to be
donates.
telling people.
Yeah, who donates what. You'll
Right.
find out that, I'm telling you, that me and my wife have paid it all.
Who's
And-
trying to curry favor?
Yeah, and my accountant, Vanessa Blevins, she takes care of all my accounting.
Well, now that little red focus out there is my car, so you make sure that when you're sheriff, that the deputies know that.
Listen to him. He don't want anybody in his back pocket. He just said that. So,
No, I'm kidding.
well, that's big. I mean, you need to let people know that. I mean, the communication aspects are big. You're self-funded. That's kind of unheard of.
Yes.
I
well,
mean, it's just like DeWine. What was his sister or whatever ran for attorney?
His daughter,
His daughter ran for attorney, and she had all
Alice.
kinds of PAC money.
Alice DeWine. Actually, they said at first they thought it was like $500,000. This is for a county prosecutor in Greene County. But they said that when everything was filed and finished, that it was closer to $1 million.
She still got beat.
For a county prosecutor. And Greene County's, it's a fairly large county, but still, it's not $1 million campaign for a prosecutor.
I'll be honest with you. I had three different, one big farmer and two big businessmen come to my office. My wife and I own Bonnie's buildings in Washington Courthouse, and I work in the mornings and she works in the afternoons, and I go out and campaign. But I've had three different people come in and lay thousands of dollars on my desk and say, "Here, we want you to take this money." I tell them all three, "No, I don't want your money."
And of course, there you can look at it two ways.
Stuff, man.
I guess the first thing is they believe in you,
Yes.
and they want to support you, and they want you to be sheriff.
Well, I told them
And-
all. I said, I really appreciate your support and your votes, but I don't want your money.
If anyone wants to endorse me,
For what?
What are you running for? Dog catcher?
I'm available
For any position, is
for
that
any
it?
position.
She's open for
I don't
office,
know,
folks.
Leonard. I'd tell you that'd be tough. I admire that you're not taking it, but in this world today, I mean,
Sydney Phillips, 2020.
money makes the world go around. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
I'm from
I
the
mean,
old school, and I just don't want to take anybody's money. And I've seen before these politicians that they have to do what certain people tell them
And
to
that's
do.
true. You feel like you're beholden
Yes.
to those people.
I like taking people's money.
Well, you're a businessman.
I'm
There's
Jewish.
Yeah.
imagine that. But I don't know. I kind of mixed feelings on that because I've run campaigns and I've had people, donate little bits of money to my campaign. But what about like if it was somebody that was from out of town? Does that look fishy? I don't know.
Well, to me, it's like the DeWine daughter taking money from people that weren't even in the state. When
That
money
is
is
fishy.
coming in from maybe in adjoining counties, because obviously the safety and security of Fayette County also has something to do with the safety and security of the adjoining counties around it. We talked about, sheriffs communicating with each other. So you might have a vested interest, as a resident of Clinton County, knowing that you've got a great sheriff in Fayette County because it makes Clinton County safer. So once again, if you wanted to support that financially, you would do that.
If you want to see more artsy content on my Instagram feed, donate.
You're trying to get donations.
I
here.
guess
She's not going to run for sheriff. She's just messing with
No,
you, Leonard.
no.
She just. But
To
anyhow,
the cause.
so I don't know. I kind of have mixed feelings about it. I appreciate what you're doing, but I'm like, it's hard to turn it because that stuff's expensive.
Well, I mean,
you got literature you're putting out too besides your cards.
The-
I mean, you have
We mailed out postcards. I mailed out 14,000 of those. Through the mail.
wow.
and you've got
And I
signs,
got,
yard signs that
I got 800
Signs for signs?
yard signs.
right.
Do you
so
have like a
I put some-
website and stuff going on?
Yes, I had a website.
Okay, so what's the
Facebook page?
website?
Got a Facebook page.
Well,
What's the
give us
website?
that information so that people
Website is www.signsforsheriff.com.
signsforsheriff.com.
If you want to be a friend of mine, just go there and ask her, let her these signs.
Do you have a social media guru?
Pardon?
Do you have a social media guru?
Like staying on top of your.
Yes, I have Andrew Stewart the third.
Oh, I know Andrew. Yeah.
He does all my advertising for me, and his
He does that
father-in-law, the
stuff,
print
yeah.
shop down there, he does my printing for my campaign signs and things.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know Andrew.
And I have.
So if
Rebecca
someone
Bowden
wanted a
does my
sign
sign.
for their yard, do you have any signs
Yes.
that they could have?
Yes, we have a bunch of them up.
Yeah.
I'd
Okay.
take one, but it's not going to do you much good in Sabina.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
But you could put one out here at the station.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah, you could put one right out in your front window there.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is I don't go out campaigning and ask people to put a sign up. They call me and ask me for signs.
Right. They want
I
to
get
support you.
calls every day. People say, I got 5 calls last night and 4 this morning.
That's
People want
great.
Signs.
That's great. Have you thought about? I mean, I assume you do have some people helping, volunteering with you.
I have a lot of people going around talking for me.
Okay, something that you might want to do is get you an election day crew. If you haven't thought about this yet, and have them go check. If you get real scientific about this, you can kind of figure out who's voting for you, and make that list out, and go around to the polling precincts in the middle of the day because they tell you who's voted and who hasn't.
Yes.
And make sure that you call those people that you think are going to support you that haven't voted yet.
Mm-hmm.
But you need help to do that because I have no idea how many polling precincts are in Fayette County. But
37, I believe there.
there you go. So you need at least probably 6 or 7 volunteers to go around to those sites and take the names, use your lists. Those lists are very valuable.
Yes.
They're very valuable. And, I would also, I kind of applaud you for this too. You really haven't put down stand for it. The only thing maybe, and it's not negative, it's just a true thing. 2 true things is one, he's not in the county as much as you'd like to see him
Right.
as a resident. And he's just been there forever.
Well, personally, I have nothing wrong with his person.
With Vernon,
You
yeah.
know, we've been friends for years, but our difference is how he runs the department, how I like to run the department. That's the only difference there.
That's kind of where I was trying to lead you with that paperwork question. I think he may be more into that kind of stuff. And so I'm surprised he hasn't maybe ran for county
Well, he's
commissioner
not
or
into
something.
the paperwork because he's never in office.
Is he related to the other Stanforth?
No, not in,
So not the mayor Stanforth of Wilmington.
yeah, he's
who's
not.
never in the mayor's office.
Who's also never around?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, your sheriff.
Maybe they're always together.
He's always in Columbus, Worthington at the Buckeye Shore Association up there, and he's always at London Run Around. He's always up with DeWine. He's one of DeWine's advisors now, and he's out of the state teaching.
So it sounds like he's
just-
looking for maybe a higher office at some
That's
point.
what it sounds
You got
like
it.
to me.
He
Yeah.
has for a long time.
Well, like I said, I think
He seems
you're
like
in
a
here.
busy guy.
I saw him yesterday up there at the Trump rally, and him. I think it was one of the county commissioners. They had 2 or 3 other guys in suits, and they went and talked to him. The security detail did, and they took him up front since he was an elected official. And I felt like putting my hand up. Hey, I'm an elected official. I was a former elected official, but I didn't. But anyhow, like I said, he didn't acknowledge me. I didn't acknowledge him, and I do know him. I know I've met him before, but he may not remember me because I wasn't dressed up or anything. I was dressed kind of like I am today. So, but I want to wish you all the luck in the world. And I'm glad you finally you've kind of been jerked around on the ballot the last
Several
couple
times,
times, yeah. And so you're finally on the ballot.
So
this time.
maybe I should ask this, but are you actually endorsed by a party? Are you running on a specific party? Is you running as an independent?
Running an independent.
Okay. So I assume then Stanforth is actually a Republican.
Yeah.
There's no Democrat running because basically in most cases in a lot of rural areas like this and in Clinton County, that if somebody's been in the office for a while, they run unopposed.
Right.
And so in this case, you are an independent running against a Democrat, or a Republican. And but you obviously, on the back of your card, you have written "Vote Trump." So
I'm 100% for
we
Trump.
we know you're on that right side of the fence there.
But I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know that I call Trump. Yesterday he said it several times. He says I'm mad as heck at the Republicans for not like taking action on the Spygate stuff and the crowd. He had big cheers from the crowd.
Well, once again, it goes back to you saying he's not a politician.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he's he at one time was a registered Democrat.
It's sort of a kind of a unfortunate thing that you have to affiliate yourself in order to
In
be
those
able
offices,
to.
yeah.
But in this case, you just want the best person in office. That's the
Right.
case. Yeah.
There's no way to win the presidential election as an independent.
No.
Well, Trump pretty much did last time. He ran as a Republican, but
I mean, you have to run as R or D to win.
I'm going to tell you this. When I went to the Lincoln Day dinner in 2016, this is before the primaries.
Was I there?
I'm the only Republican there wearing a Trump shirt, and my butt got laughed at all night long.
Yeah.
Yes, Rick was there because he told me the story.
I think I was there, Charlie.
Maybe you were, but anyhow,
He laughed at your shirt.
I did not laugh at your
no,
story.
everybody did.
But I was a Cruz supporter at the time.
Yeah, and we've debated about that, and everybody laughed because I was supporting Trump, and by God, he won the primary, and then he won the election. And so this year at the Lincoln Day dinner, once again, I told him I was the only one there again with a Trump shirt on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, come on, guys, you're missing the boat. But everybody's for Trump now since he is going to be the Republican nominee. So.
Right, and he's done what he said he was going to do, and so he's, that's the other problem that you see because we talk about rhinos or people that aren't what they appear to be, and Trump was a Democrat, Ronald Reagan was a Democrat.
Yeah.
I guess you can change your spots, and he's proven that. I think you have to be today in any office you hold. You have to be more pragmatic. You have to really, not look at the D's or the R's because you do represent everyone. And you want that best person in that office. And I've not voted Republican for every office that's ever been held. I've voted Democrat before. I'm a Republican, but once again, it goes back to you hope that you get the best person. And I don't like to vote for the lesser of the two evils. I want to vote for somebody that I believe in and that I honestly think they represent my values.
Yeah. And I think Leonard definitely has displayed that today.
Absolutely. Yeah.
For many people, not taking.
Well, we hope that this
you
time that you've spent with us.
Or has anybody endorsed you?
not
I know, not the back pocket talk. I'm just saying, has anybody come out and said, "Hey, I support Leonard Signs for Fayette County Sheriff"?
I've had hundreds of them.
Do you have, another powerful ad in the paper would be get those people to come on, but to just sign their name. I support Leonard Signs for Sheriff, and put that in the paper. Or just put even on your website or on your Facebook page.
Right, yeah.
Because a lot of people, no offense, and don't take this the wrong way, I've been there, but a lot of people don't give two craps about politics or voting because they're just so wrapped up in their own lives. Yes. But if they look at your list and they go, Charlie Hargraves supporting Leonard Signs. Well, I know him. I like Charlie. I think I'll go ahead and vote for Leonard Signs.
Well, on my Facebook, I have a bunch of them that do that every day.
Some endorsements there.
Okay, good deal.
Now,
Good
Saturday afternoon, too, Trump's got a big parade in town. At 6:30, they're going to meet at the Sherman-Williams building.
Yeah.
And going to be all kinds of trucks and cars.
So you need to have lots of signs and cars there. I would love to join you, but I'll be in prison that day.
I'll be in that
Charlie, you can't seem to get out of jail or prison, can you?
We're DJing a Hearst show clear down in Moundsville, West Virginia on Saturday.
Okay.
So if anybody's ever seen the show Castle Rock, a lot of it was filmed
in the prison that you're going to be visiting.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting place. But we do wish you all the luck in the world.
Appreciate it.
And we thank you for coming in.
For signs out there.
Thanks for coming.
Saturday night, though.
Yes.
Get you a couple big ones in the back of a truck and put them up, and because that'll just, I tell you what, a lot of it is just, you want to think you're trying to attract, intelligent voters, but unfortunately, it's not. They're not. They just, a lot of just who they see the most of. I've seen a lot of signs.
Probably
really want
the biggest thing that you have to overcome is the name recognition that a current sheriff has
for 20-some years.
That's right. His name's been out there all this time. And so, that's part of the thing, having those signs out is getting people to recognize and put that name with your face and in the offices that you're running.
Signs.
That's right.
Yep. Signs, I'll be there for you. You don't have to play hide and seek with me. I'll be there for you.
Well, I've always been well respected and well known in the county.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't know of anybody that doesn't like Leonard Signs. I mean, but just getting that word out. I tell you what, like I said, we do wish you good luck. I don't know. Going up with anybody against 23 years, that's a big mountain to climb.
Yeah, I'm on top.
There you go.
But here's the nice thing. Like I said, it sounds like he may be wanting to move on to other pastures. And I tell you what, a lot of these cats do too is they line up who they want their successor to be. It doesn't sound like he's done that yet, so he's not ready to move on.
He doesn't
yet.
have a son, does he?
No.
Okay.
He's got his son,
But here's the even
sure.
nicer thing. You guys have been listening to WZAA 106.9 LPFM. This is the Morning Zoo, and it's time.
It's about time
for
to go.
the 50s and 60s music to come back on.
So once
Thanks
again,
for joining us.
we want to thank Leonard to come in and talk to us.
Coming in, we do
Thanks.
appreciate it.
Tune in
Thank you,
next
guys.
Tuesday for the next episode.
Good luck. Like I said, good luck.
Have a great week.
So we're now getting ready to be off the radio. We're still on there just for a second. Go to Leonard Signs' website.